Yo, 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 this is DPS podcast. That's Damage Per Second podcast. Back on a fine Thursday night, feeling stormy, all right. I had to say stormy in there because it's storming here, apparently for some reason. For some reason, they decided that they drop a lightning storm on me at this time period that we normally go live, but no worries. Things seem to have died down a little bit. I do think that we'll be fine, but if you guys see the little wheel spinning on the screen, you know what happened. But this is episode 277. We are here. We're going to have a well-known guest come through as well. Mr. Agent Deli will be here as well. He's got a couple things to handle. He'll be a little bit late, but he's going to be here for the main topics for certain. And so no worries about that. We can get into our introductions. Ramon Terrell, how's it going, bro? How you doing, man? Ramon is there. You go.
Yo, I am. Sorry, delay. No, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Just just doing it like yesterday. Hopefully a little better. As
hmm
and yeah, just having a good week and enjoying the fact that summer is finally clawed its way in front of the spring and nice and sunny and warm today. So yeah,
All right.
all right.
Anything you've been playing?
Yeah. So I'm gonna start low and then end high.
Uh-oh.
First, Crimson Desert. Still an overall awesome experience. Whoever the balancing on the boss fights is stupid. Like I'm cool with bosses that punish you for getting greedy. No problem with that. What I have a problem with is getting one shot. Like the ability of bosses to one shot you, or certain bosses that are arrow markswomen who can load you up with like 60 arrows in like about 0.6 seconds.
You talking about the Crimson Archer or whatever her name is?
Yeah, the rogue gray mane, like dude,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the expletives that came out of my mouth. So, my other thing that they need to sort out is I still don't understand what's going on with the visual shimmering and my frame rate. Like I'm at launch, I was running ray reconstruction with frame gen, and I was hitting about 70 to 80, maybe even 90 frames per second at times, using frame gen at 1440p. Now I'm hovering between 60 and 70 without ray reconstruction. So I don't know what's
Really?
going on with that game. Yeah, dude. I'll take that back. With regular ray tracing, I'm at about 70 to 80 frames, which is still crazy because I should be around 100. So I don't know what's going on with that game, but ever since a couple of updates ago, my performance is tanked. I don't
Mhm.
understand why. So that's been weird. But I mean, it's still more than playable. But the visuals, something's going on with the visuals. I don't know what's going on with it. Um,
Feel you. Yeah,
Forza
that's
Horizon
odd.
6.
As a
And
PC gamer, you
Yeah.
should never accept anything other than the most exceptional game experience ever. I don't know how you're doing it.
Well, I mean, some of us don't have 4090s, sir. So
You don't
we
need
do.
it.
We do.
You got a 4080.
Well, I mean that's true, but I mean all I can do is
You
just
act like you out here on peasant status.
well, all I can do is submit a ticket. All I can do is submit a ticket. I mean, I
How
can't.
about
I
they
can't.
fix? How about they make their game more optimized for people that actually have good enough hardware to run it?
No, I agree with you, but
That's
the
my
reason
problem.
the thing is it started off that way. So I don't know what they patched that turned it into a little bit of a mess, but it started off performing fantastic. So I don't
The
know what's going
spaghetti
on with
code.
yeah, vibe coding or something. I don't know,
vibe
but
code. A whole lot of that
yo,
going on.
oh my god, don't even get freaking started.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon 6. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say real quick, their ray reconstruction for their engine is really heavy. Like with and without ray reconstruction is kind of ridiculous. It pretty much like you turn it on and it cuts your frame rate in half. The
Fast.
fact
Yep.
that like you have it off and it's still not doing triple digits is a bit wild. You still playing at 1440p?
Yeah, dude. I'm at 1440p DLSS balanced, not quality, balanced. So
Have you
something's
gone
wrong.
down? Have you gone down the performance? Because if you're playing
No.
in Transformer DLSS Transformer model, uh,
Yeah.
Transformer model performance preset is essentially what the CNN model, which was the old DLSS model, was at quality.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if you go down to performance, I wonder if you would get the frames that you need. Although you shouldn't need to. And as you said, before all the subsequent patches, your performance was better. So I know they had some like issues with shadows that I noticed big time. And I heard a lot of that stuff got fixed, but I wonder in fixing it if it didn't end up lowering the overall performance to do so. Kind of weird.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, I'll try that, but I'm really hoping that they freaking patch the game because it's been kind of crazy.
Yeah,
But
Satnus in the chat said that on the PS5 Pro, the week 4 update added some issues for him as well. So
oh, okay.
it looks like
So
Pearl
it's
Abyss
pretty
just
much
has some things they still need to iron out. Maybe if they stop adding pets for you, and just every update I see is like, hey, you can raise an eagle now. I'm like, I don't care about raising no eagle. Like,
you have a pet rock.
yeah, right. Like what I did think was dope is that I got a phoenix, but like the process of catching the phoenix was so annoying. It was just almost like by random. It would because like you would shoot it down and then it would because it's a phoenix rise from the ashes. It would revive itself, but then
Yeah.
randomly at times it would just be invincible. And so for some reason for me, 90% of the time it was just invincible. I'm shooting like I'm doing the whole focus, fire, explosive arrow stuff, putting like infusing magic in the arrow so that it's just like blowing them up. And he was just tanking it like it was nothing and just running right past it. I was like, this is ridiculous. But I got lucky and he finally died for me. So, but he's pretty dope, like he'll revive you because he's a phoenix if you die and you don't have any second chances or anything like that. So, cool.
Oh man, maybe I need to go through the trouble then because I wasn't even
Yeah, hopefully
considering
they
doing that.
patch that so you're not being super frustrated. But yeah, I haven't played Crimson Desert in the longest. I do need to get back to it so I can finish it. That's a couple of games I gotta get back to and finish. But my bad. This is your time on the
Oh no.
floor. Go ahead and finish up what you've been playing.
So Forza Horizon 6, dude. So visually everything. It's a beautiful game. It's possibly the most beautiful game. The environments, everything, the just the free roam driving is fantastic. I mean, the cars handle well. The vehicle sounds are way better than 5, and the treasure cars are really cool. And then of course the barn finds are there. So little things like that. Finding the mascots is a lot of fun,
Mm.
and that is where the improvement ends. the I'm not, I've already ranted about the soulless NPCs that like don't sound like they were even voiced by humans like in part 5. Part 5 had a lot of personality. The drivatars. Uh you
Hey,
guys know me
hey,
pretty
real quick,
well.
have you run into Bowie Knife 99? This guy that's
Oh
been
yeah, I
going
have.
around. You ran into him?
Yep.
Did he ruin your race? Like he's ruining everyone else's race?
No, he couldn't keep up with me.
Oh,
Like
excuse me.
what happened was he was in front of me and then I zipped past him, like almost like slingshotted past him in a turn.
Hmm.
And then after that, I was just gone. So, um, but I've come across him I think once. But like you guys, if you think back hard, you've probably never heard me use the word trash with regards to a game. The they could have I don't know if it's possible, but they could have lifted the Drivatar AI from 5 and put it in 6, and it would have been perfect. But they didn't, and the Drivatars are trash, garbage, absolute flaming trash. I'm in a turn, dude. They're on their track. If you're in front of them and you hit the brake to turn, they will ram you into a wall. They will ram you off the course. They will run you off the road. There is no
So
there
are the
is
Drivatars using the driving behaviors of the actual players that they got the
I would
names
wager
from?
no. I
Oh,
would
okay.
wager no.
Because
I
if
don't
you
know for
see
certain,
mine, you
but
better
I would
stay out
wager
the
no.
way. Because like that whole ramming you into that would be me if I was really there. My driver's heart is doing exactly what I would do in that
Well,
situation.
they all do this. They all do this.
Oh,
Like
they
I've
all
been run
do
off
it.
the road so many times in races. Yeah, like I've been like I'll be, and I'm not one that unless it's like a hairpin turn, I'm really good about taking turns fast.
Hmm.
But if I'll be tapping the brakes to go into a turn, and then suddenly I'm just getting knocked straight face first into a wall. So it's to the point where I have gone back and forth with myself on uninstalling it
Oh man.
because on, on the one hand, I love the environment, I love the racing, I love the world, I love the driving, the cars, the sound, everything. But on the other hand, oh, also the radio. I don't like the radio. I don't like any like none of the stations really are doing anything that I like.
Yeah, you sound
And
like you do not like this game, man. Like you really are
dude, like
unhappy.
it's 50-50. Like it's so weird because they do so much right, but then it feels like they just kind of went like they just said, whatever, we'll just do this on some of it. Like I don't understand it. I've never had a complaint about a Forza Horizon before this one. Like it just feels like I don't know if they were
First time
tired
for everything.
or huh?
First time for everything.
Yeah, well this must be it because there's so much I like and there's so much I don't like, but it just feels part of it feels a little soulless, and the drivatars are the main thing that ruined it. Like if the drivatars actually drove like the previous Forzas, then it wouldn't be a big. My other complaints would be minuscule, but because that is such a major irritant, it just like exacerbates every other tiny little issue that I might have. So you know, I'm hoping they'll patch the drivatars and make them to where they actually race with something resembling a brain, but we'll see.
The people that play that
And
game basically don't race with a brain sometimes.
that's absolutely true.
That's why the
But and I'll try
Drivatars
to.
are as bad as they are.
Hey man, that's what I was like he was all like they ramming me. I was like, oh, I felt
I
some
said,
kind
you
of
But it
way
I
wasn't
about
like
said
that
that.
in
that
I
five.
I
can't.
said was that thing
It
said
wasn't like
first
that
name
in
slow,
five.
last name was the name of that avatar first name slow, last name slap?
Right, no man, you gotta watch out because
Well,
that's
I
how I
never had
race.
that happen to me. I never had that happen to me with your drivatars in the past though. So it's something unique to fix.
He ain't
But
played enough,
I'll
that's why.
oh, man. Well, I'll try and go quick so you guys can go. I played Neva, fantastic, rips your heart out 2 times. It was really emotional.
Oh yeah, okay.
Nothing challenging.
That was that's the dev that made what is the
Agree,
name of that
agree,
game? Um
agree.
yeah.
Gris.
Grist, that's it. Yeah.
It's spelled Gris, but it's pronounced Gree, I think. Yeah. So you basically the difference between that game and this one is you have combat in this one. It's very basic, of course, and you know there were a couple moments where there was a little bit of a challenge, but overall, I mean, it's not really made for that. So it's just telling an artistic, emotional story, and they achieved that. Loved it. So at some point, I'll get prologue. Played Darwin's Paradox. That game was awesome. It's beautiful, surprisingly heavy. I played it on 4K maxed out with DLSS quality. The first environment, I was struggling to get 60, but then after that, I was hovering between 70 and 80 frames per second. So that game is actually surprisingly heavy on the hardware, but it's
What's the
fun.
name of the game again?
Darwin's Paradox, the octopus game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful game. It's a lot of fun. You get to use all octopus abilities and things like that. So nothing super challenging, but it's kind of fun. It has that Pixar humor to it. So I highly recommend that. And then lastly, I started today Guacamelee, and that's really fun so far. I never got a chance to play it, so I'm playing the Super Turbo Edition, and it's cool so far.
Forte, been up to? What you been playing?
Work, and my playtime playlist has not been as long as our homie Ramon's here. I've only been playing a couple of things. As of right now, I don't have a PlayStation 5. I let my father-in-law borrow mine because his PlayStation 4 went out and I wasn't using it. So I said, hey, you could borrow mine. But the funny thing is, he came and got it on Saturday. So I went on my system. I said, well, let me see what's on, because all he usually plays is Call of Duty, Madden, and like NBA. He's the typical person when it comes to that. So I said, let me go install the games that I have, because I know he wants to play all the Call of Duties, which I have. And I said, I might as well pick up Madden because it was like on sale. So I did that. So then I said, okay, well, let me see what else I got on my hard drive. And I was like, dang, I still got Callisto Protocol on here. I said, I'm about halfway through that. I loaded it up. I was like, I might have to start this game over because I don't remember where the heck I am and what to do. So turned that off. And then I just installed everything else. And then on Saturday, they came over. So I brought the PlayStation upstairs so he can, it's definitely a culture shock when you go from the PS4 UI to the PS5 UI. People say it's kind of the same, and I'm like, no, the heck it isn't, because there is some hidden menus that you got to figure out on the PS5. So I showed him how to do all that, and then he was like, oh, what other games you got on here? And I was like, oh, well, then the first thing that was up there was Ghost of Yotai. Now, I've never played it. I own it. It's sitting on my hard drive. And I was like, you know what? I never booted this game up. So I booted it up, and I was like, first of all, it's a freaking movie. Like the first 15, 20 minutes is just nothing but cutscenes and a story. You're stuck to a tree, and man, and then let me tell you, I did the whole first mission like with everybody in the living room, and I was contemplating my decision on giving my PlayStation up. I was like, bro, this game is awesome. I don't even want to give you my PlayStation no more. But I ended up letting them take it. I was like, I'll play it when it comes back around, because I own it digitally. That's fine. But I played like 2.5 hours of it while they were all here. And that's like, man, I can't wait to get back into that. So that was really fun.
Fire.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah, I gotta play
Yote.
I haven't played it
You're
yet.
killing me, man. That game was so good.
Man, just the beginning part, like I was like, yo, this is really good, bro.
Just wait, it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah, so I did that, and the other game that I played, I fell back in slow-mo. June 9th came.
Oh my god.
June 9th came, and I was on Destiny 2. I had to. It was a rally cry by my fellow Guardians, and the light was calling me, and I installed the game, and I jumped in, and I was like, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff going on in this game. They did everything. When I tell you, this is how I feel. I feel like the developers told them, if we're not going to continue Destiny, we need to do one final update for the game before we stop production on it completely. Because part of me feels like Sony just wanted them to cut ties with it. And it just seems like everything we've ever wanted is in this update. Like everything. It's pretty crazy, the amount of stuff that they threw in there, and all of it's free. It's all free. Now you don't even have to spend silver on like your ornaments and stuff, like the cosmetics. Now you could do it with Bright Dust, which you earn in game. So they just really don't care right now. I see them on Twitter. the CMs and everybody just cussing on the accounts and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, they don't care anymore, bro. They already know that half of them ain't gonna have a job anymore in the next couple of months. They already know what the deal is. So they out there just having fun right now. And bro, the game is it is probably the best version I've ever played of Destiny, including all the DLCs. Everything you could want is right there, and it's pretty insane that it took all this to get to where we are now. So I've been playing that. I have about, it's only been 2 days. I probably had about 14, 15 hours in. I was up to like 4 o'clock in the morning last night playing, and the night before I was up to like 2 o'clock in the morning playing. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And as soon as this podcast is over, I'm probably going to jump over there and play again tonight.
Wow. But can't get this guy to play anything with me, but let Bungie have a halfway decent update, and this man can't put the game
down. It's beyond half. Well, okay, well, let's be for real.
No, it's not be for real.
Even if the update, let's be for real. Even if the update wasn't as good as it is, I still would have showed up, because I still believe in the fact that your best move forward with Bungie is not to just say we're not working on Destiny. It's just not. Marathon ain't it. They're like, nobody, like the fact that they made Marathon a free-to-play weekend or a free-to-play week, and the numbers on that game are still like below 18,000 with a free week of play on Steam. Well, that's the only place. Well, it's on console too, but yeah, on Steam. But they already said 70% of the player base is predominantly on Steam. So even if you extrapolate that out, what are you talking about? Another 6,000 people, 7,000 max on other platforms, so 24,000, 25,000 people. Whereas even Destiny at its lowest was still like 25,000 people just on Steam alone. So it's just very, I don't think it's going to mean anything, because guess what? The fact that they're acting the way that they're acting on Twitter lets me know that they already know what the inevitable is, and a lot of them won't probably have jobs at the end of the day, which is sad. But I'm very proud of the fact that I jumped on the game. I didn't know if I was, because I didn't, I've been so detached from the game for over a year and a half at this point now. But I had to at least log in to say, okay, I was one of the 167,000 people that logged in on day one. And it was pretty cool. And the experience was really, really good. So outside of that, that's really all I kind of been doing outside of going to work and coming home, and the little bit of Ghost of Yotai I played leading up to all of this. But yeah, it's definitely been a really, really interesting and cool week. But SloMo, what about you, man? What's up with you, first of all, other than your internet going in and out, and what you been playing?
Well, I've been playing 3 games. And I played more, some of y'all gonna be like, we already know what one of them is. I've been playing Black Ops 7, so there's that. I'm still playing Hades 2, even though I beat the game. I've been in the epilogue of Hades 2. And I do have to take back what I said last week about the epilogue. I said the epilogue of Hades 1 was better. And I kind of thought the rationale behind, because Hades is very story driven. So everything that you do, even though it's a gameplay element or a gameplay mechanic, they have a story reason for it, which I love. I love games that do that. But the story reason for the epilogue to continue things on once you basically roll credits is it's flimsy in the first game. I thought it was flimsier in Hades 2. I was wrong. As I started to really play it and started to understand the purpose of why you're still fighting, I was like, all right, I get this. It makes a lot more sense, especially considering who the main bad boss is, which I won't get into. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but it's great. And it's like slightly harder now that I'm in the epilogue, which is, I enjoy the challenge in roguelike. So It's been good. I have been playing Hades 2 every morning because when I go on a morning walk around my neighborhood. I got my own little path I do, and I drink my cup of coffee. I do a run in Hades, do some story stuff, then I get out there and then I get to work. So um, it's been a good time. I also the other game I played is Impulse. I was invited in on the private playtest last Sunday. They did it during if you watched our live stream. I appreciate you guys for coming through on that. If you watched our live stream on last Sunday for the Xbox showcase, I had to leave early because I had the playtest to do, and it was a good time actually. It's Impulse is this movement based first person shooter. It does have a lot of Titanfall vibes. I'll get more into it because I kind of made like a rapid fire to discuss later on.
Everybody, check out SloMo's video. He did a video on it, and it was really good. So be sure to go to his channel, check out.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I should have plugged my video too. I completely forgot I made it. But no, yeah, Impulse is cool, and they got another one this weekend. But this weekend I might be pretty busy, so I may not be able to do. But the one this weekend, they said we can't live stream it, but we can record our gameplay. So I kind of wanted to do that and maybe discuss some other things about the game. But I think it's good. I'll get into the other details of things later when we do the rapid fire. But now I'm gonna get into controllers. Talk about controllers real quick. Hold on, Ramon, do you have a Switch too?
I have a Switch too.
All right, the both of you. I think you guys should buy this this thing called the MobaPad M12 HD.
MobaPad M12 HD.
Yes.
Interesting.
What it is it's essentially it's replacing your Switch 2 Joy-Cons, which suck. They suck in ergonomics. They suck in having potentiometer thumbsticks. They suck in latency. They just suck, right? In accuracy, all that stuff.
M2 HD?
Yeah, the M12 HD.
Oh, M12 HD.
So these are actually these are Joy-Cons that have great ergonomics. And I know two different people who have them. Mine is en route. I haven't used it yet, but I've seen reviews on it, and I know two people who have used it, and they say they're fantastic. I'll have more. Hopefully, if they arrive, I don't know. It is estimated to arrive next Thursday, which would be like our next show. I may not have enough time in it to really speak on it, but maybe 2 weeks. But yeah, definitely in 2 weeks I'll have it, and at that time I could have like more full-fledged thoughts on it. But there's like two versions of it. There's like an M12S, which is 80, and then there is the M12 HD, which is $100. But it's $100. It's TMR thumbsticks on these Joy-Cons with low latency. Does everything that the regular Joy-Cons do as far as like screenshotting, a chat button that you can actually. There's another button that you can remap to whatever you want. It's got back paddles on it, and what else? That if you get the HD version, it comes with like that thing that you connect the Joy-Cons to make it into a controller, but like when the Nintendo version of it is like too narrow, so it's kind of useless. You know what I mean? It's like that, but like theirs is bigger and it actually feels like a controller. So I would recommend, if you can't stand your Joy-Cons, I would recommend you get these because they seem to be pretty good. Now I know for certain, but two people I know that have them, I typically trust their judgment, and they also, like me, find the regular Joy-Cons of the Switch 2 to be inadequate. So there's that. I got in this other controller called, and bear me with me with this name, okay? Big Juan. That's the name of the company, okay? I didn't name the company, okay? That's their name. The Big Juan Storm. It's a $60 controller. Only works on PC, but it's actually pretty good. You know, it's not as good as like my Game Search G7 Pro 8K, but it can do up to 2,000 hertz polling. The TMR stick latency is almost as low as my G7 Pro 8K. It's got 4 back buttons. They're kind of placed in unique positions, so some people may like that and some people may not. But it's pretty good. And so, like what I do with a lot of my controllers is that like I'll choose a controller to play for that day because I kind of don't. There's even though you got TMR thumbsticks, well at least I do on most of my controllers, or Hall effect at the very least. There are other issues that can occur with wear and tear. So I try to limit the usage of my controller so that like I don't wear them out too quickly. Like I have a FlyDigi Vader 5 Pro and it's the version 1 that has like not very durable back paddles and tension rings. The tension rings can lose tension. I haven't had any of these issues because I don't use it as often as the other people who've bought it and make it their main driver. So there's that. And then I bought this $20 controller. It's a $20 8K controller. It's probably Chinese. I don't know. It's called like the PXN P5. It'll be here this weekend. I heard it's decent. I'm gonna find out. It was $20. I said, why the heck not? And then I got 2 more that's coming in that they won't be here until next month. The other one's a Beatong KP40, and another one's a Game Search Tarantula Pro. These are the last controllers I'm buying. I'm not buying any more controllers. I'm done. Okay, no more controllers after this. That 8-bit
You said
dude.
that with such assertiveness, SloMo, that I almost believe you.
You guys don't have to believe me. But trust me, I'm not buying. I'm done. Those 8-bit do controllers, the ones that are licensed for Xbox, I was going to pick them up, but they're a little too expensive for not really. I mean, they're not like super expensive, but like the 3E is like $150, but the regular 3 has tension rings and the 3E doesn't, but it costs $50 more than that. It's just like I'm good. I'm good. I got my Steam controller over where my Steam Deck is, and I got my other controllers here. I got a Game Surge G7 Pro Wu Chang edition on the Xbox. I got my DualSense Edge with custom TMR sticks on my PlayStation 5. I'm good. I'm not buying any more controllers. I will get into doing now that I got the bug back with making videos. So I will. I feel like I probably would do more content on Impulse, and I will start doing videos getting into controllers. I kind of want to do some things that are a bit different than what other people are doing. Now I don't want to do the same thing everyone's doing. Maybe a little bit of different testing, a little bit different understanding, because I kind of feel like 8K polling is more of a marketing term than anything. I've said this before, but it's like you don't need 8K polling at all. What you really need is lower latency on your buttons and your thumbsticks. That's where the advancements really should be. Your like 8K polling for the whole controller, like 8K, if your CPU can't handle it, you're actually impacting the performance of the entire game. It's not worth it. You really don't need any more than 1,000 hertz polling. Your performance is not going to be significantly better as far as like you as a player, but whatever. I'll get into that when I start making content on it. We don't have Agent Deli in yet, so we can get into these rapid fire topics if you guys are ready.
Before we do it, I just got one quick question.
Sure.
Between the that 8-bit do Ultimate 3 and the that big wand, which one would you go for if you were? Because right now I have my G7 Pro 8K,
Mhm.
but I'm selling my Cyclone too. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm deciding between those two.
Well, with the Wand Storm is only $60, like 60 maybe. Well, for you in Canada, it may be a little bit more, but it's going to be cheaper than the 8-bit Do
Yeah,
Ultimate 3. And
that's a good price.
I can't say with certainty that it's a better controller than the 8-bit Do one because I don't have it. It's not out yet.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't come out until August, I think, or September. So we got like 2 months before that comes out. Whereas the Storm is out right now. So if you want a controller, like if you want to wait and then see what reviews say about the 8-bit Do Ultimate 3, go for it. I mean, you got I don't think the Storm is a better controller than the one you have right now. So there's no like urgency in needing to pick it up or anything like that. But if you just want to have something that's like a secondary controller that's there that in case anything happens with the 8-bit do and you got like a year warranty on that, not 8-bit do, but your game sir, you got a year warranty on that. If you need to, get a new one brought to you, because like I had an issue with the right trigger on my G7 Pro, and they sent me a new one for free of charge, and I was just using different controllers until it came in. You could have something as a
I'm pretty
backup.
much like you, where I like to preserve the wear and tear as well. So I do the same thing. Before I got rid of my Ultimate 2 8-bit do, I would bounce back and forth between them because one, I like them for different reasons, but also same as you, like I like to cut down on the wear and tear, so I like to rotate them.
And Chopper Eric is in the chat calling me out. He said, "Did you not say that after you got your Steam controller?" Chopper, you weren't supposed to remember that. Why do you remember that I
We
said
all
I was
remember
done?
that. I remember that.
You don't need to remember that I said I was done buying controllers then. Here you go. All right. You got me. You got me. I probably will buy more. But not any look, I have no desire to buy like and the mobile pad is necessary. Cause as on a handheld experience, like I've been getting these what are they called? They're like accessories. I got some from D brand where they're like I forgot what it's called, the D brand version of it, but it's like a case or a shell with you put a shell over your Joy-Cons and then you slide in like these little handles on the sides to kind of allow it to be better on like better with the ergonomics, because frankly I can't use very many handhelds in a handheld form for very long. Just the ergonomics are terrible. The only one I can kind of do for longer periods of time is the what's the thing called? I'm literally looking right at it. The PlayStation thing. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Are you talking about the Portal, PS Portal?
That's it. PS Portal. I'm literally looking right at it and I couldn't even think of the name. But like because the ergonomics of the size that you're holding is just like a DualSense controller. Yeah, that's fine. That's comfortable, even though I barely use the thing. Um, I've been looking for something, especially considering I'm going on vacation the first week of July. So I was kind of looking for
Vacation.
something that could, when I'm, out uh in a foreign land, not really it's foreign to me, shoot, it's foreign land. But when I'm out somewhere else that like I could play in handheld form and not feel like I'm constantly stopping and flexing my fingers and that kind of thing. So getting the mobile pad was necessary. So yeah. Okay. Deli, I got you. Hold on, sir. Um, but yeah, yeah, like I was saying, you should probably just wait until you see the reviews for the 8-Bit Do Ultimate 3.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I'll do that. It's in a rush.
Deli, that is you should have invite there, sir. You guys ready to do the rapid fires?
Let's go.
Oh really? Oh really?
And welcome, Agent Deli. Good to see you,
Hello.
sir.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Doing
Yo,
good.
what's
Doing
up,
good,
Deli?
man. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Good to hear you.
All
Hope
right.
everybody's been well.
Yeah, we've been good, man. Super good.
Can't complain.
He's good. Right back at you.
Of course,
Right.
of course. I mean, staying under the radar.
As you should. Well, not too far under, but as you should.
Best place to be. Best place to be.
All right. Let's get into the first rapid fire here, which is gonna be pretty interesting. Xbox gonna have some layoffs in July, fortunately. This news came out, I believe yesterday, I think it was. And a letter that new CEO of Xbox, Asha Sharma, sent to Xbox employees discussing the next 100 days, and she calls it an Xbox reset. Some more information here in regards to that. Now, I'm just kind of skim some of this because it's a pretty long letter, but essentially, she touched on 5 different points that need to be addressed, and a lot of it's pretty concerning. I mean, multiple times throughout the past week after the showcase, she had a first party, Matt Booty, and their new chief strategy officer, Matthew Ball, have done a lot of interviews, and a lot of discussion has been made about how they're not in a good place. But in those 5 points that she said, there are realities that they need to navigate. Point 1 was that over 1 billion players choose to play Xbox for a total of 72 billion hours across console, PC, mobile, and streaming. Our franchises are among the largest and most beloved globally, and now they're breaking records in TV and film. Going forward, our competition is attention. And so it seems to be that she's going to start, or they're going to start doing things that will be pushing forward into those arenas to get more eyes on the IP, the intellectual properties that they have. The second point is has been something that a lot of people have been discussing. She said that we will end this fiscal year at about a 3% accountability margin, and what that means, frankly, we're talking about a profit margin right there. She says down year over year. Excluding Activision Blizzard King, over the past 5 years, we have spent over $20 billion on ongoing investments in our content platform and hardware subsidy, but our annual revenue has declined nearly $500 million during that time. Going forward, this cannot continue. So that's kind of self-explanatory there. She talked about in point 3 there being a hardware crisis, a hardware component crisis, which we all know about. We know about the RAM, the DRAM issues that literally everyone in every point in technology, every industry that has technology has been dealing with. The storage issues are starting to grow as well, and it appears that the way they began doing inventory, like a just-in-time kind of inventory to deal with the fact that demand wasn't as high for the hardware, has kind of come to bite them in the butt now, considering that they would like to put out more hardware, considering now that so many live service and annual release kind of games are getting rid of last gen. There's a lot of people that are out there now looking for a console to replace their old one with. And they don't have the actual supply to meet demand. And the point 4 is really kind of I would say not disappointing but worrisome. Asha said we expanded our studio system when we needed a pipeline of content to meet multiple strategies across subscription, streaming, and devices. In that process, we have found ourselves overextended as we executed on changing strategies in a landscape of more readily available content. We are the fortunate stewards of industry-defining franchises that have enormous potential and player demand, but we have not adequately funded them to compete and win. I can definitely talk about that sentence a little bit later. At the same time, as we saw this past weekend at Showcase, our reliable pipeline of first and third-party exclusives and new IP are critical to our success. We need to reassess the balance between these and our investment priorities for the next 5 years. And then the 5th point was about the platform infrastructure that is not built for what they need to do in the future. That they've been too reliant on vendors to operate their systems, and they need to be more self-reliant as engineers. I mean, they are Microsoft, of course, and yeah. So let's get into that. Let's get into that. Forte. There's a lot to discuss there. I definitely want to discuss the 2 points about their not adequately funding their industry-defining franchises to compete and win, and that they are overextended on on their studios. In addition to the other point where she discussed that they how much they've spent and the decline in revenue and their accountability margins, but any of that you can take on. But what are your thoughts on this Xbox reset?
I mean, decision was going to have to be made. Like this is probably going to be the hardest thing that she has to deal with, because she has a huge tailwind when it comes to like games and everything coming out that's going to really breathe a lot of excitement into the brand when it comes to that side of it. But this is the side that was going to always be the more troublesome side of everything when it comes to Xbox, because just because they got rid of, their previous regime retired or left the company, however you want to put it, it still was a situation where everything was in flux when it came to not really just direction, but, financials. That's where all of this started. Like, people got to look at the books, and the books came out to not be what people thought they were, or they just weren't paying attention. And that's part of the reason why I think they're in a situation they're in. Like, Microsoft wrote blank checks for a division that wasn't doing what it needed to do to, bring in revenue that would at least not really try to offset it, but at least try to keep it close. Like $20 billion is a lot, bro. And it just goes back to that whole conversation where with Game Pass, everybody kept saying, people kept saying Game Pass is profitable. Game Pass is profitable. And I'm like, I just never got into that whole argument, because it's like, there is no way it's profitable with the amount of games they're putting in. People kept talking about Xbox being a loss leader when it came to that, wanted to be able to, get players into the funnel by allowing them to get gamers at a basically paying for a price under a subscription service. Having all of these exclusive games not exclusive, but all these games come day and day to Game Pass. It all adds up at the end of the day, and that balance. And at the end of the day, the balance sheet is due. So I do want to say that I appreciate her coming out and just being straightforward with it. Like like when she was talking in that letter, it was like this. Not really. People aren't really used to hearing figureheads, CEOs, and stuff like really, really stuff that they know is going to end up getting out there for the public to see. Because at this point, every communication from every, CEO, VP or anything that comes down and it involves these giant, enormous companies always gets out. So they know it's going to get out somehow, some way. Someone's going to say, someone's going to leak it out, and it's going to get out to the internet. And you still very forceful with the cone saying this has to end. This has to stop. And, I've been hearing, on the rumor side that it's like a 3-year window for them on this. Like, they have like 3 years to turn this around because, at the end of the day, Microsoft understands
Real quick.
Go ahead.
What do you think is going to happen at the end of those 3 years if they don't reach their goals?
Oh, it's a wrap, bro. I already told you. Oh yeah, it's a wrap, bro. I won't say Xbox is a wrap, but they're gonna go back to what they think is right because they put too much money into all of these studios. It's either two things are gonna happen. They're gonna sell off the division, they're gonna sell it off separately as a whole thing, or they're gonna sell off pieces of it when it comes to like the developers and stuff like that, because those IPs are still very, very valuable. By that time, you still probably won't have a Elder Scrolls 6 out. You probably still won't have the next Fallout out or something. Those games will be well into development now, but by that time, 3 years from now, you'll be starting to hear inklings of those games like right around the corner. So there'll be a lot of value tied to those things, and Microsoft would be easily able to shop that stuff separately if they wanted to, if not the whole division outside. Because I just don't think they have the appetite to do this anymore when it comes to, having a platform in gaming where they're flipping the bill for a lot of the hardware.
Okay.
I just think at a certain, go ahead.
I think
because there's more to this, but yeah, go ahead.
I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if they started outsourcing hardware to other vendors.
Oh, that's already starting.
Well, I mean, yeah, we saw that with like the Xbox ROG Ally. That's Asus. They went to Asus and they canceled their own manufactured handheld that had just to partner with Asus and have Asus do it. But when it comes to a console, or a console-like experience, a PC that's in a small form factor PC that's a console-like experience, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they went to Asus for that, or Lenovo, or whoever that can do those kind of things and doesn't mind assuming all of the manufacturing costs, the shipping, the inventory management, all that other stuff that they can do away with. I think ultimately, if things don't work out, what they're looking at being is the biggest third-party publisher that's out there.
Oh yeah, and that's the best case scenario in the whole situation, because at the end of the day, they still believe in services, they still believe in AI, all of that stuff is still going to be a thing, but if they, when it comes to just their willingness to continue down this road, I think Phil's been telling them this, and I think it finally came to a fruition where they have new leadership in there. Asha's in there. Asha was like, said the same thing, and they basically just told her, it's like, hey, well, if this whole timetable around 3 years might be a thing, yeah, we'll roll back the clock on these exclusives. You got a lot of exclusives coming out. Some of them are going to be exclusive to the Xbox when it comes to, Gears of War, E-Day, and things like that. And yeah, we'll start flying, because they know that's the only way that you can bring any type of health back to your console. Like, if you want to breathe life into the console, you have to have exclusive content. It's like you can't survive without it, because it already harmed it a little bit when you started putting your stuff on PC, because then you took the option away for people to just play just on Xbox. Now, me being a PC fan, I'm happy about that. It is what it is. But then when you started putting your games on competing platforms that are in the console space, you know, at that point, it's no reason to have you at all. It's like, you know,
what's good for the gamers isn't always good
it's
for
not good for the business.
for your brand, for your IP, not your IP, but your hardware. Because like you said, like if I can play your games on PlayStation, why should I buy an Xbox? I should just buy a PlayStation where I can play PlayStation games, Xbox games, and all the popular live service and annual release stuff that
all
really
in one
everyone
place.
plays all in one place, right? And to a smaller degree, the same thing with Nintendo. You know, like you may not get all you don't get the PlayStation games, but you get the Nintendo games, and you're getting some of the Xbox games that the Switch 2 can actually handle, you know, playing.
Right.
You know, like when you do that, you're shortchanging the hardware. And if you really look at like when, I mean, the hardware was already doing bad compared to their competition,
Abysmal.
but it completely bottomed out after the whole just for games thing happened. When that happened, it was like, well, and everyone knew it wasn't just for games. So it was just like there was just really no purpose in trying to thread that needle.
I will say though, them talking about not being able to live up to demand when it comes to like, you know, especially with all these games coming out and people having to make decisions on what platform they want to play in the future. I don't think this is a this year or even a last year's problem. I think this has been a problem maybe for the last 3 to 4 years, because the level of availability of these consoles in retail has been non-existent. Like they're just talking about it now, but it's been like this for a while. Like they pretty much shut down. It feels like they shut down their development of consoles on a real serious scale years ago. Like not last year, not the year before.
Yeah.
It feels like 2022. That's kind of when they said we're scaling back. We're not going to make as many consoles because their whole
they
plan
had to
changed.
mitigate the lack of demand. Like PlayStation and Nintendo will go to Nvidia and their other partners and say we need X amount of components or you know APUs, you know, systems on the chip for manufacturing a certain number of consoles. And we're going to have a whole bunch so that when retailers say we need to re-up, when Walmart calls, when Best Buy calls and say, yeah, I need more of your console, we got it ready. We'll get the shipment ready. Just send us the money. We got you. You're dealing with demand. When you're dealing with such a lack of demand that the retailers don't call you, like GameStop, when your company's not calling Microsoft to re-up because they ain't dealt with the supply they already had. So then, like, are you going to keep going to AMD and ordering more of your APU when you don't need that? And are you going to keep spending the kind of money that you were spending to keep a ready supply available when it's not needed? So that's when they switch to that just-in-time inventory, where it's if they need it, all right, we'll order it, and we'll get the stuff made, and then we'll put it out there, and that's saving money when instead of having inventory sitting in warehouses collecting dust, right? So, I mean, I get why they went that route, but it's like, to me, it's a defeatist mentality that the previous regime had, where it's like the issue isn't, oh, we need to change the way we do inventory so that we're not spending so much money. The issue is, why don't no one want our hardware, but they want our competitors' hardware? We need to figure that out and make it so that people want us more. Deli, what are your thoughts about all this? I know you have a lot of thoughts on this.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the business needs to be looked at from top to bottom, right? Like we've
Mhm.
had Phil Spencer run things for quite some time. We had Satya come in. I think during this wave between the Xbox One all the way up through the Game Pass initiative, and then obviously currently now, right? So Asha coming in and basically saying things and giving it a like an autopsy is not. I wouldn't necessarily say the things that she's saying isn't necessarily new, but I would say that the things that she's saying is stuff that probably should have been said earlier.
Mm.
And I think that
Right, I
that's
agree.
something that is really, really important here is like in the Big 26, we're now just turning it around, right?
Right.
And I'll talk about this here in the game show section, but basically my biggest issue I had with the Xbox showcase was a lot of the stuff was promise of the future, right? Like, hey, this don't worry, 2027. This is going to be delivered in 2027. I think we had a total of 4, maybe 5 games coming out. For 2026, but the other, let's say the other 20 is a promise of the future, right? Well, and I've been very vocal about this on the on Twitter. It's like an Xbox now is almost $700. Like you
Yep.
cannot sell me $700 console and say, "Don't worry, wait till next year." That is the exact issue that PlayStation had going from 2020 all the way up to 2024.
Mm.
That was the same criticism I had for them for the last 6 years was like, hey, you guys cannot sell me a PlayStation and then say like, don't worry though, the games are coming. It's like this is the same model that Apple does, right? Like, hey, buy the new iPhone, the support will come. It's like, no, I bought an iPhone to do the new stuff. I bought it for the new camera, I bought it whatever. Like I bought a PlayStation 5 to play PlayStation 5 games, so why did I have to wait almost 2 years before I got Miles Morales? I'm thankful that it even had backwards compatibility, and backwards compatibility was a huge initiative at Xbox. So I'm glad that they, saw the writing on the wall and said like, hey, we have to offer support now. But my issue here is that like, you're initially just delaying, right? And then obviously the COVID bubble bursted and the AI production is going on. So not seeing this 2 or 3 years ago is the biggest issue I have with Xbox, right? Not seeing the fact that RAM was going to skyrocket last year. Like that was recent, you know? Like the RAM skyrocketing did that not clue people off on some things? Like did that not, the AI data centers, like did that not clue in on it? Like the Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, big integrations, like Google's first quantum supercomputer coming out a few years back. Like, did that not clue you guys in on the next wave, of things? That was my biggest thing with Xbox is like they always feel reactive and not proactive. And it's very unfortunate, and I think now, what 6 years into this console cycle, it's like, hey guys, we're going to try to be proactive now. It's just like, hey, the console cycle is 7 to 8 years,
Right.
so what are we going to be proactive for the next 2 years and then turn it around the next console? Like, don't worry guys, we're gonna promise you guys the next console will be good, will be better. It's like, well, this is just a repeat of the Xbox One situation. Don't worry guys, when you guys buy the Series X, this is the console you guys were promised. Like, this is the console you guys wanted. It's like, okay, well, consoles are now $700. So
Yeah, I actually have a question for you, and I think it's a good question for you because you're a developer,
Mhm.
ship games, you worked on plenty of games. You're also a gamer, so you
yes.
have both sides of it. I feel like some developers are just like they don't really play a lot of games. They just work on games and I say that not in complete ignorance. I don't know for certain, but it just seems that way. But like it seems like it's a limited supply of developers that really kind of look at things from the perspective of the people who are supposed to actually be playing it. Well, at least that is nowadays. But we see when it comes to something that Asha said in point number 4 about being overextended, about talking about bringing back exclusive games, about being overextended on studios while also not properly funding their biggest IPs. And what I assume she means by that is like the Minecraft, the Call of Duty, maybe Maybe Sea of Thieves. I don't know how big Sea of
I mean,
Thieves is
the
now.
Fallout, the Sea of Thieves, like
Right.
the things, the big money makers, right? Because we
Yeah.
have several live service games going right now. We have Elder Scrolls Online, we have Fallout
Mhm.
76, and we have Sea of Thieves. That's three big. I mean, to have one is already good enough, right? But to have three is, that's no slouch. That is something that obviously they've been leaning in on it, right? Because they've been continuing. We're 10 seasons into Sea of Thieves. We're 5 seasons into Fallout 76. We're Elder Scrolls Online has been a thing for God knows forever now.
Yeah. But is it fair to say, because it seems like when people want something that's like kind of like happy go lucky, family oriented, or like easily get your kids into play, they go to Nintendo. You're going to get those kind of experiences, those unique, smaller scale experiences. When people want a narrative driven movie production kind of, a bit more mature experience, they go to PlayStation for that. They know that's the kind of content that made. And to varying degrees of success, I feel like Nintendo clearly sells more than PlayStation does. And everyone can just look at the numbers and see that. People know where to go to when they want to get those kind of experiences. I feel like part of the issue that Xbox has is that the identity isn't really what their biggest sellers are. Like that's not really the identity of the platform anymore.
I
It's
think they moved away from it.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, what is the identity of the platform? Like it used to be the shooter box,
Right.
but
It used to
now,
be like the place you get Gears of War, you get Halo, you get Call of Duty DLC first, right? Like when you thought
yeah,
Call of Duty, you thought Xbox Live. You didn't think PlayStation
right.
Plus, or you didn't think PlayStation Network.
And now you don't need the next box to get that kind of experience, and they don't uniquely provide a experience that's just there for them that no one else can get anywhere else that's fresh and new. Because sure, they're doing it now with Gears E-Day. I get that. But also, Gears is like kind of for us old heads. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that the younger generations know much about, even though I think it showed great
I mean, yeah,
at the
it showed great,
showcase.
but one of the first things that came out of my mouth was like nobody under 25 cares.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Unfortunately,
I'm
yeah.
sure there are, right? I'm sure there are people who care about Gears of War, but like the reality of the fact is that Gears is 20 years old. All right. So you had to have been legally to buy the game. You had to have been almost 20 when it came out 20 years ago. So doing the math, like, guys, we aren't, the crowd ain't young anymore. You know what I mean? And Gears 4 and 5 were rocky, I guess, is probably the best term that I would describe it in sales and in brand recognition. So I think that it was something that's, not leaning into that kind of stuff, the identity kind of wore away, right? And partially in fault and both, derogatory and complimentary towards Phil
Hmm.
Spencer. It's like whittling away that identity and then attempting to find it again or attempting to find a new one. Yeah, obviously some of that stuff looking back, obviously in 2026, looking back, feels like a baby learning how to walk for the first time, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of great things that he did. Like as much as like I like to criticize Game Pass and the subscription model, Game Pass was very good for Xbox. It brought
Hmm.
people into the ecosystem, whether it be you're on PC, mobile, or whatever. It brought you into playing games. And really, at the end of the day, we're here to play games, right? Did it necessarily equate to the highest amount of sales for games? Probably not, right? I think that like internal metrics and or like metrics that we've seen over the years is that a lot of the play times are like under 10 hours, right? Which is great if you want the subscriber base, but we've seen the subscriber base kind of wean over the last few years and especially over the last year, right? Over the last 18 months. So I think it's just one of those things that's through stumbling and falling, Xbox and of course Phil Spencer in tandem, lost their identity and then it reattempted to find it. And I think throwing darts at a dartboard wasn't necessarily helpful, right? And then COVID didn't necessarily help as well, too, right? We had acquisitions, we had studios, we had inflated trends, right? Like Warzone was a huge deal for like forever, but that's because everybody was locked inside, and Call of Duty is free. So you had a PlayStation or an Xbox, and you had the premier giant, Call of Duty, release a free platform game, and you weren't locked inside for like the next couple of weeks or the next month. Like, of course you're gonna play the Call of Duty. Like it's Call of Duty, dude. You know exactly what it is, right? And I think that's again, this is what I say. Like Xbox being reactive, jumped on that and was like, oh no, we can definitely inflate things, right? And it wasn't just Xbox, right? PlayStation and Nintendo did it as well. Nintendo not in mass, right? But like PlayStation did it as well, and Xbox did it as well. But I think when it comes to like pure acquisitions and throwing darts at a dartboard, I think Xbox did it much more than PlayStation. I think we saw over the last few years, PlayStation did a little bit more with Bungie, and with the Activision Blizzard acquisition. It's like, okay, hey, we're on the back foot now. They're trying to be reactive, right? But for the majority of this decade, I would say, like for the first half of this decade, I would say that Microsoft was throwing darts at a dartboard and saying like, hey, we just need to acquire some. We just need to get people playing. We have people playing Xbox. We have people buying into the ecosystem. As long as people are playing, that's a good thing. And it's like, yes, that's a good thing, but you guys touched on it earlier. What's good for the consumer isn't necessarily good for the business. And Asha touched on that recently. It's like bleeding $5 billion over the last half decade is a lot of money. That's
I got something you said earlier this week. You and I were talking earlier this week, and something you said about like styles of games.
Yes.
And you know how like everyone says like PlayStation has the third person over the shoulder, sad dad, me
Oh
and my
yeah,
son,
like the
let
kicking
me,
the rocks, like
yeah,
third person
let me
adventure
let me
game.
help you up the wall, gameplay experience.
The classic, set down the controller game. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, oh,
right.
we're watching movies.
Yeah, they have that, and we know what Nintendo has. But what I think Xbox has is it's a quality experience that's just not popular. And what it is you've got multiple studios that do the same thing. Exile, Obsidian, Bethesda Game Studios. They do the same thing. Western RPGs. First person perspective, most usually Western RPGs. They play the same. They have similar writing. They all come from the same interplay, back in the day development tree. So, the whole and I enjoy those games, but they also don't sell a lot of copies, except for Elder Scrolls and Fallout, which since they've acquired ZeniMax Media, they have not released a brand new Elder Scrolls or a brand new Fallout. So the two most popular IP in this style of game, you have not released yet. And although Obsidian has made quality games that will, on Metacritic, it'll get like in the 80s, they don't sell. They didn't sell before you acquired them, and they're not selling now. In Exile, pretty much the same way. Except they're a bit more isometric, but it's still the same foundation of a game. And then you got your I forgot how they describe Dishonored, but like your Arcanes, everything is first person perspective.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, reality sim. That's what they call it.
Yeah. But everything is first person perspective. Deathloop, Prey, Dishonored 1 and 2.
Yeah, Dishonored 1 and 2, Avowed.
Machine games with Indiana Jones, Wolfenstein. Everything is first person perspective. And so that will appeal to a particular kind of gamer but not necessarily what most people who are into first-person perspective games. They're playing Call of Duty, they're playing Apex Legends, they're playing shooters, like heavy shooters, and these aren't that. Like, you're not getting amazing gunplay in these games because that's not what the developer was even caring about, right? And so
Right.
you're making quality games, they just don't appeal to the majority of the market. And so if there's an identity that they have, it's Western RPG, simulation, or reality sim, stealth, and old school kind of shooter games.
And I think that the issue that Xbox is obviously fighting, and again, this is all in hindsight, right? Like, it obviously we don't know that when it was coming out. I'm sure that there were people that were very vocal about it back in the day, but is that the brands that were absorbed into Microsoft's umbrella had already been extremely established, and you hit the nail on the head, right? Like Fallout, Call of Duty, Elder Scrolls. When you think of Western RPG, you think of Elder Scrolls, all right? Nobody thinks of nobody thinks of the other
About
Western RPGs. Like, nobody thinks of Avowed. Nobody thinks like, oh, Avowed's going to be the next big IP. It's like, right, well, you're now encroaching on a very strong brand recognition. If Avowed was, you know what I mean? If it was a Morrowind side story and it was like, had a subtitle and everything like that, and it was like, welcome to Morrowind, blah, 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 then I think it would have sold a lot more because it leaned into that brand recognition. But attempting to create new brands and new IPs and new franchises while encroaching on old franchises that have already been well established, I think is a huge pitfall, right? Because nobody is saying like, oh man, I play Elder Scrolls and Avowed. It's like, why would you play number two, right? And this is an analogy that people always said when I worked at Microsoft, was like, what do you use? What's your search engine? I say Google. I said, okay, what's the number two? And everybody would have a different answer. People are like, oh, Yahoo, or like Ask Jeeves, or like Bing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, nobody remembers the number two. People only remember the number one, right? Like, we call them Clorox wipes. We don't call them disinfecting wipes. Like, we don't call them like whatever, like, hand me the Clorox. You know what I mean? It's like, you could have bought anything else, but it's like, hand me the Clorox, right?
or like
Xerox machine,
iPod back in the day. It's an
Yeah,
MP3
like iPod,
player, but people just said,
Nobody-
"Yeah, I got my iPod," and it's just like it
nobody
just
says,
assumed
yo, pass me the Zune.
yeah.
Yeah, like nobody does that. You know what I mean? So
That sentence
the issue.
never has been uttered until now.
That's the thing that I think is a pitfall that Microsoft ran into this last half decade, was that like you had too many of these games that mirrored other games that looked similar, right? And don't get me wrong, all games are going to be similar in some way, right? Especially if you had like an extremely popular game like Elder Scrolls. It's, well, everything that you make after that is just going to be an Elder Scrolls knockoff, right? Like, that's part of the strong brand recognition. But attempting to try something different while looking the same is going to be a hard sell. You know what I mean? And I think
Right.
through that it lost its identity, right? Because now you identified it as Western RPGs, but it's like, when I say Western RPGs, if Forte can name me 3 that came out this decade, I think that would be nice.
Or you're thinking about a different kind of Western RPG. Like, you're thinking about Witcher 3, Cyberpunk. You're thinking about Expedition 33, which is, very much has a lot of elements of Eastern RPGs in it as well. And so it's like you're the new kings of Western RPGs aren't the people that you have now. Like, you've got Obsidian, you've got Bethesda, but like people nowadays kind of gravitate more towards what is CDPR cooking right now? Instead of
And those are other brands. Those are other strong identities, right? Like, this entire conversation, neither of us has said Outer Worlds. That's coming from Obsidian itself. We've name dropped Obsidian a few times, but nobody said Outer Worlds. Like, that's the issue that we're having here, right? It's like, what's the identity? It's like, well, nobody can really tell you.
Ramon, I don't want you to be completely out of this discussion. And I actually have a question for you directly if you're ready, sir.
Okay.
So, there's a part there in regards to this letter where she was talking about being overextended, like they have too many studios. And typically, when you're already talking about layoffs next month, and you say we're overextended. That sounds like people are going to start losing their jobs. You are an enjoyer of indie titles, and like I forgot the name of the game that you brought up earlier, but made by the developer of Gris, like Nivea is I think what it's called?
Neva.
Neva, right? I never played that, but Gris was awesome. So I when you say it's fantastic, I'm not shocked whatsoever. But
It is fantastic.
But like, you've got Double Fine who makes these kind of games, but these games don't sell. And so they just release I cannot pronounce
Kayla.
this. I cannot pronounce this game to save my life, but it's the pottery game, the pottery multiplayer game.
Oh,
Kiln, right? That game made zero footprint whatsoever in the gaming market, in the gaming community. When they make unique content, and everyone loves Psychonauts, but it seems to me, if you look at point number 4 again, she talked about in the first half of it being overextended with studios, and then also talked about not properly funding and having resources for their best IPs. Does that kind of suggest to you that potentially a Double Fine might be asked to start helping out on Warzone the way Toys for Bob used to before they got their independence? What do you think about that?
You know, like the majority of me wants to say absolutely not. I don't think that's going to happen. But I mean, adults got to adult, right? So my adult answer is absolutely that is a possibility. Like the the th- the, the thing that I don't know, like yeah, I think that them becoming a support studio is a possibility, but it also like I don't know anything about development, so I'm just spitballing here, but it could possibly depend on their skill set because not every studio does everything, but maybe there's just certain things that are general that they might be able to do to support Warzone. I don't know. Sorry about the sound. My
Oh, you
dog was
good?
going crazy, so I had to take the phone off.
Oh, you're good. You're
Got
good.
this rat over here barking. So I just think that like if I think that's definitely a possibility, even though I hope not. But
I
man,
think
I
I
don't.
think
It just anything small, any small studio right now, I think is probably a little bit in jeopardy. The one ray of hope that I think is still possible is that Xbox, fairly recently has really gone in on making bets with indie and AA studios. They're funding, even if it's not first party, they've been, making deals with companies that have these really cool, quirky games that, up until Shu took over the reins, voluntarily or not, PlayStation had largely abandoned once the PS4, really took off, which is messed up. So, hopefully there's still some of that spirit there. And then, Asha's like, okay, we need to rein this in. We need to be more measured with this, so maybe we might not see as much of it, but maybe, you know, hopefully maybe she'll have a talk with Tim Schafer and be like, hey, um, Kiln wasn't it. We want to see you still make, your cool and quirky, weird games, but try to rein it in a little bit. And like folks want Psychonauts 3, and if you don't want to do Psychonauts 3, do something, that has a mix of, quirky, weird, and mainstream. Like you got to balance it, So that's my hope. I don't really, but yeah, I'm definitely fearful for the small studios.
I think there are a few things that we can kind of expect to happen. One, if if one of their developers, they got up to like 40 developers at this point, so there's a lot there, right?
Yeah, they
But
got way
like
too many.
the developers that showed something at the Xbox showcase are probably safe for the most part going into these layoffs next month. Developers who may have just released the game and haven't shown what they've been working on over the last few years may not be feeling as comfortable. But I think they already downsized Turn 10 to a significant degree. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they just shut Turn 10 down and rolled the engineers that, because Turn 10 created Forza Tech, which is what they make Fable, which is coming out next
I
year,
totally forgot about them.
and Forza Horizon on. Those engineers are likely would just get rolled into Playground, and you might save some money there doing that. But um, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, I mean, if Obsidian is not working on a Fallout New Vegas, they definitely about to be working on a Fallout New Vegas. Like that's got to happen, at this point. Like you gotta kind of handle that. If I mean, there was talk at some point that, like, Tim Schafer didn't want to do Banjo Kazooie, and like, I get it. It's not your IP. Your people may not be interested in doing that, but you want to keep the lights on. You want to keep working. That might end up needing to be what you do. You, instead of making a pottery fighting multiplayer game, you kill some people off and you make a Banjo remake. I I I don't know for certain what happens, but I think whatever choices she makes is going to end up still being somewhat unpopular by a lot of people, especially for people who may have, like, really enjoyed the games of a studio that might get shut down, or be like a studio downsize, or they lose a lot of people and wondering what does that mean for their next game, kind of thing. Um, you guys have anything else you guys want to? So what?
No, just said she inherited a mess, and there's no real easy answers or straightforward ones.
Yeah.
But no,
When things are bad, there is no easy way to fix it. It's going to be painful, and not everyone's going to be happy with the end result, but it's got to get done. Like difficult decisions have to be made, right? Is there anything else anybody want to say about this before we switch over to our last rapid fire, and then we get into our top 5 games of all the showcases?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, cool. Forte? Is Forte not be there? Okay, all right, we'll keep it. We'll keep it going.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So I wanted to discuss real quick my thoughts on Impulse with the private playtest, and I know this won't be very long, but I did do the private playtest last Sunday, and I got to play it for an hour. It was fun. If you like Titanfall, if you like Halo, because it's more arena based. Like, the maps are not very big. They are the level design is like a smaller arena. It's got that vibe to it. The movement's really good. I did have a couple of gripes with things, not necessarily gripes, but things I think they could improve on. Um, well, first, there were people who were complaining about ADS, because there's some weapons that don't actually ADS, but when you try to, like, let's say you hit left trigger, the ADS, He really just does like a more focused zoom than actually aiming down sights. I'm fine with that because I feel like every weapon should play differently. Some weapons do ADS and some don't. That's just the way it is. I don't have an issue with that. That's very reminiscent of like what you get from Halo. Um, my only really gripe really is the way they're doing the mechs right now. So mechs in the game are kind of like power weapons in a Halo multiplayer match. They're on a timer. They are in very specific positions. When the timer hits 0, you can go get in that mech, but the timers are much, much shorter in impulse. My issue with the mechs is that they're all very it's the same mech no matter what the mode is, no matter what kind of like match is going on. You really can't change much about it. You have perks on your player that you can put into your loadout, and one of the perks is dedicated to mech. So you could kind of like get a bigger magazine if you want that, or you could do other minor things. But how in Titanfall you had very specifically different mechs that could do different things. Like one could throw out like electric mist and stuff like that. There's nothing like that. You just got a shield and you got a rocket launcher and you got regular machine gun. It's a very basic, like the basic Titanfall mech is what you have in Impulse. And I feel like they could do a little bit more, like make a completely separate loadout for a mech so that when you jump in there, it is your loadout for your mech, and that can be different. That would allow the other team to kind of not automatically see a mech and know how to tackle that mech. Gunplay's good, and it was a good time. It performed well on PC. Didn't have any performance issues. If there were any bugs, I didn't notice them. But it's supposed to go free. It's supposed to be early access on the 23rd or the 24th, one of those days. But yeah, it was a good time. If anyone's interested in playing a interesting shooter, that I think you should give it a shot. And I think they may be a bit more successful with this one than they were with Splitgate, because Splitgate, the portals, I think, turn people off. When you play the game and you're playing with inexperienced people, no one's using the portals like that, and you realize, oh, it's a decent shooter with decent gunplay. And then you start playing more experienced players, and they're portaling around you like Nightcrawler, and you're like, that's not for me. And so I think the vast majority of the gaming community kind of just didn't vibe with Splitgate. But this is something that you see in Apex Legends. People are about movement. In the last two Call of Duties, Omni movement is present in there. Sure, there are people who don't care for that. You're a Battlefield player, you don't care about any of this crap, right? But if you are someone who plays a lot of Fortnite, it might be something that's more your bag. So, any thoughts about that that you guys may have? I could. The floor is yours.
I was gonna ask, like, do you feel like it has an identity? Do you feel like it offers anything to the actual space that it's trying to occupy?
I think it's
My
trying
biggest
to be. It's
Okay.
trying to occupy the space that Titanfall should have had.
Mm.
That's what it's trying to do, but it kind of it's in a way trying too hard, because they even like called it a spiritual successor to Titanfall. And I kind of said this to Forte a couple of weeks ago. You don't want to say that. You want people to get the feeling that is like, oh, this is like Titanfall, and I love Titanfall. But when you're like, yeah, we're the spiritual successor to Titanfall, now people are comparing you to Titanfall. And they're
Yeah, I
not just
don't think
comparing you to Titanfall, they're comparing you to their nostalgia of Titanfall, but you're going to lose that every day of the week. So, yeah.
I don't think you can give yourself a nickname, right? Like that's
Yeah.
that's
Right,
kind of
right.
not how that works, right? Like we
It
should
is
be
our
calling
job.
it.
Yeah, it's our job to give
Yeah,
the nickname.
Yeah.
we
So,
should be calling it the spiritual successor to Titanfall.
yeah, I think that was a misstep on their part. But they like 1047 Games are competent developers at multiplayer shooter, first person shooting. but they keep like tripping themselves up. Like their CEO with the whole "Make FPS great again" hat. Like, bro, like what are you doing?
Do you
The
feel like this?
shadow over his face,
Yeah.
Yeah, like they
the
keep
brim over the cap has a shadow over his face.
they keep tripping themselves up. But like if they
Do
just
you?
go ahead. You had a question.
I was gonna say, do you feel like this differs from Splitgate? Like if you put them side by side, obviously there's a visual identity between both, right? Like this one looks more like Brink, and Splitgate looks like Splitgate. I don't really know if it looks like anything else other than portals, but I think that's kind of a not speaking wholly on what Splitgate has to offer. I didn't play Splitgate 2. I only played the first one. I think we put a couple hours into it together.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily feel like it was as polished as I wanted it to be. And I didn't necessarily feel like it gave the arena shooter anything really special, especially in that day and age, of the arena shooter already kind of being gone from the zeitgeist. Do you feel like, at least from your opinion playing the game, do you feel like this will have staying power, or do you think this will just be another 1047 project that is supported for a few years and then they move on to the next one?
I'm a little leery on it having staying power. I think it may get more legs than Splitgate 2 did. But mostly because there are a lot of older first person like shooter heads that
Mhm.
remember Titanfall and they're gonna want to play this because they wanted Respawn to do Titanfall 3. The problem with that though is that 1047 game, like when you invoke Titanfall, you're not just invoking the people who played Titanfall 1, which was all multiplayer. You're also getting the people who play Titanfall 2 and think that campaign is one of the best first-person shooter campaigns ever involved as well. And this doesn't do any of that. Like 1047
And
has
you're
never
also
did
like
single player campaigns anything. And so
you're also
you're
invoking like Vince Zambella, like a reputation. You know what I mean?
right.
Like when
Yeah.
you're invoking Respawn, like, oh yeah, we made the game, Respawn didn't. It's just like you're thinking of Vince Zambella, RIP.
Right.
But you're thinking like old Infinity Ward. You're thinking of like that's a lot of legacy. I don't think you could just throw that around lightly. Because that legacy is something like that's like Hall of Fame legacy, right? Like that's some people's like entire careers and they retire and like, hey, what did you do? It's just like, dude, I made COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, I made Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, I made Apex Legends. Like that's that's a hefty career. You can't just be like, yeah, we're gonna do the game they didn't. It's like, damn man, I feel like they're setting themselves up for failure there.
This is almost exactly what I said to Forte a couple of episodes ago. Like they keep kind of setting themselves up with expectations instead of just letting your games live and die on their own. You're kind of always trying to challenge the giants or to compare yourself with them. And I mean, I get the confidence, and that's commendable. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you're 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 a little dev who needs to just get a stable community to enjoy what you make. You probably
Well, the
don't
problem,
need to do that, right? Like just put your game out and let people feel what they feel about it.
Like you will have a diehard crowd. Like that's no doubt about it, right? Like that's every brand has one, right? Every entry to the video game world has a diehard crowd, right?
Mhm.
It's going to naturally form, right? Um Trying to, it feels like clout chasing. It feels like the little brother who wants attention. You know what I mean? I think that's what the feelings that it's giving me. It's like, man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
so
I
there's a thing.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a thing that well, at least in fiction, but I'm sure it crosses over. We call it comps, short for comparisons.
Comparisons,
And
yeah.
so yeah, so when you're launching your book and you're a small indie outfit, and you say, hey, so they're like, all right, I need to come up with some comps. So if you like R.A. Salvatore with the intense battle scenes and yada yada yada, this book is in that style. If you like, Robert Jordan with the big world building, the lots of political intrigue and things like that, that's what this book is. But what you don't do is say, yeah, this is the, you know spiritual successor of, Stormlight Archive.
Yeah,
I had
Game of
someone, I
Thrones.
had
It's just
someone,
like, what are you
yeah,
doing? Like, don't say
yeah,
that.
like
'Cause-
Forte said it perfectly. Forte said it perfectly. It's like, let us do that. I had someone describe my first fairies novella as Pratchett-esque. Like if you read fantasy humor, there's a British author named Terry Pratchett.
Hmm.
Now, I will never, ever say that my work is Pratchett-esque, but what I will do is tell people I've had readers that have said that this book is Pratchett-esque. I don't own it. I let the person who wrote it own it, because that, one, it takes my ego out of it, and two, people will believe other readers before they're going to believe me, as they should, because, like, who would I think I am saying that, likening myself to Terry Pratchett? And Terry Pratchett is a master. So, I would never say that. So, like, just with this studio, you can say, what, guys, we were thinking, and one of the most beloved first person shooters of all time, one of the best campaigns for a first person shooter, Titanfall. We took a look at that and we took inspiration from that. You know what I mean? You say you take inspiration from it. We really look up to the studio that made Titanfall, and we thought, what if we put this spin on it? You know what I mean? Like you don't put yourself shoulder to shoulder with them. You kind of indirectly thank them for letting you stand on their shoulders, if you get what I'm saying. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you don't have to be overly humble, but at the same time, you gotta be humble. Like, I mean, you
Like
know what I mean?
an
So,
influence is important, right? And there's
influence, exactly.
nothing wrong with saying like, "Hey, I was influenced by this." Like art,
Yeah,
is cyclical, right? Like nobody makes original stuff, right? Like, so it's like, hey, the influence is like I was influenced by this. Is like that.
Yeah.
There's credibility, right? But yeah,
yeah. You don't say you're a spiritual successor to a
Right,
to
right.
come out with
enlightened.
guns blazing and say like I did this. It's like wow, that's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
little
And,
bold.
and, and
You
so
just set
I
yourself
wanted
up
to
a
put some
microscope.
B-roll footage of that they gave to all the content creators that were involved in the
Yeah.
private play test, that people can actually see what the actual gameplay is like. Your question about like what does this shooter provide that you really can't get anywhere else? I mean, there are first person shooters that um are good with movement out there. I do think this one might consider it the best at movement, and it's something that they were focused on doing. And so, if they do have a measure of success, I do believe it would be people who really, really enjoy and want to master how to very difficult to hit and how they move around. And I'll say this, like it was my first time playing the game last Sunday, but there were other content creators who have been apparently been working with them, and they had like way more hours than I did. And I my in my third match, like the first match was just me against a bunch of bots, and it was a freaking massacre. I destroyed them. Second match was me and another, like a team of humans against bots, and we, curb stomped them. Third match, nothing but humans. And for the rest of the time, nothing but humans I played. No more bots. And I think they did that so that we could get our feet wet with how the game plays, how the gunplay is, maybe, adjust some settings with sensitivity and stuff like that to get comfortable and our feet wet. But there's just no amounting for the experience of going against other players, because then you see things that you didn't think about. And at the time, I didn't even think about you. I had in the first two matches, I did not use my grappling hook one time. But in that third match, very quickly I was like, oh wow. Like some of these guys aren't touching the ground at all. Like they're just like You have a jetpack, you can slide, you can double jump, and you have a grappling hook. Like, and you can wall run and bounce off of walls. There are people who are so good at the movement that like they're just almost gliding across these maps. And like if you get that good at something, I think you can kind of create like a little bit of a meta within your game where like this is the best way to be dominant in the game. And if that appeals to people, great, right? If it's not, as I said before, someone who is like a Battlefield main is going to be like, I'm not playing this crap. Because they like when Battlefield 6 came out, a lot of them were like, yo, can y'all keep that Call of Duty Omni movement BS out this game? Like it was just it wasn't even all that, but they kind of felt like it was. And so, you know, like it's gonna appeal to some people, it's not gonna appeal to some people. But I think what they should do and is stop talking about Titanfall. You got mechs in the game. Make the mechs feel like different than Titanfall mechs. And give your mechs their own identity. And just lean in on the strengths of your game. Good gunplay, good movement. And hope for the best. But let the community determine if you're a spiritual successor to something. Don't, before you even show the game, because like when they start talking that Titanfall spiritual successor stuff, they were just showing like concept art at that point. They hadn't even showed the reveal trailer yet. So you never know what people are thinking when you say this. Like, oh wait, I remember when I first heard them say that, I'm like, wow, like, okay. So you're gonna have mechs, you're gonna have decent movement, and you're gonna have a campaign? Because this is what I think about Titanfall. I'm not just thinking about Titanfall 1, I'm thinking about Titanfall 2. And so if you invoke the name of a shooter that's popular and well liked, you can't control the narrative after that. Let people come up with that comparison, not you. But I didn't want to get too deep in this for too long. I have a video out on it if anyone wants to check it out after the show. So but we can get into the main topics if you guys are ready.
SloMo out here getting biblical with him.
Stop. What?
Let's go.
Stop it.
You know what?
Yeah,
I will ask you this because this is my thought process on that. How I go about a game that, like, especially a game like this is, if we got to go deep into it. When you play it, is it a game that makes you feel like even if you're losing and you're getting destroyed, it makes you want to keep playing the game?
You asking me that?
Where you going?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
Okay. Yeah, it did.
Tofu, where you going?
I had probably about 6 or 7 matches.
Put the loose on.
Mhm.
I did really well in the majority of them. There was one match where me and my team just got absolutely curb stomped. It was nasty. I mean, we were going up against I all them dudes just knew what they were doing. They were
Tofu, here. Come back.
they were doing all kinds of stuff, right? And to me,
Oh, sorry.
it was
guys.
if you're good.
You're
To
fine.
me, it was more of learning, like, cause like I saw some different weapons I hadn't seen, and also these guys their movement was so good. So your secondary is like a hammer or a bat. You don't get like a pistol as a secondary. So instead of using the primary, some of these guys was just like their movement was so good, they were closing the distance so fast and just hitting people because like once you get within a certain range, you can just kind of dash into someone and that bat's a one-hit kill.
Right.
So dudes were really taking advantage of the inexperience of a lot of players going on like
Preying on the
5
weak.
kill streaks. Yeah, getting like 5 kill, like 5 kill streaks off the bat alone. And I looked at that, and for me, it was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's an
Okay.
interesting strategy. So I tried it. Same match. And rattled off like 7 kills just doing that. My movement wasn't as good, but I see the appeal to it. And then it also told me I need to come off this this burst rifle I'm doing, because the burst rifle I was using was great for like medium and long range, but not so great against like short range gunplay. And so when someone is moving in so quickly or flanking you, and you see them coming, but you're trying to aim down sight on them, and it's too late, they already got you. I switched over to what, I forgot the name of the gun, but it was called that fast assault rifle. Oh,
Mhm.
I was cleaning them up after that. Like once I adjusted to the strategy, I knew how to handle it. And for me, that's kind of how I handle adversity. I think it depends on the person, because there's definitely
Right.
people who get bodied and they'll never play the game again. And I just think that's just
Right.
something that you're just going to have to. You're going to get those people, whether your game is the best first person shooter ever or whether it's a piece of garbage. You're going to get people who just be like, "Yo, I just got stomped, 7 kills and 28 deaths. I'm never playing this garbage game again."
Mhm.
They're not going to like want to learn how to adjust. They don't want to. I'm more of a, before I label the game a piece of dog turd, I'm gonna be like, well, what did that guy just do? Let me figure this out. And
Right.
yeah, and that's why I'm kind of interested in the next playtest as well as the early access, because I want to, when you get into a bigger audience of people trying the game, I want to see how the meta evolves and changes, and what adjustments they make off of the feedback people have given them, and how I can dominate people. That's just really what it comes down to for me. It don't have to
Right.
be my strategy. I don't mind looking at a YouTuber who say, "Hey, look, this is what I did. Bet. Let me try that." And if it if it works, hey, I'm gonna have some fun with it. And for me, because I play a lot of shooters, and I know that there's not a lot of people who play as many shooters. That like whether it's first or third person. Like I played the hell out of Rogue Company, right? It's got to be something that I can play solo. If I can't play it solo, then I'm not playing.
Mm.
Because my hours when I play are very unorthodox, so I need to play. I need to be enjoying playing the game by myself, and I feel like you can play. You can enjoy any game playing with friends. It's really fun. Is it when you're like you can't wait to play it, and you don't need anyone else there with you.
Yeah,
And
I
I
agree that
and
that's it.
I can't say that for Impulse yet. I like to see. I like to give it a fair shake and see that kind of shoot.
Cool.
Cool. All right, let's move on to this to our main topic, which is our top 5 games of all the showcases. So we've had a lot. We've had an Xbox showcase, we've had the PlayStation State of Play, we had the Nintendo Direct, we had Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest, we had Future Game Show, which now that I just thought of that, I should probably adjust my top 5. But it's too
Oh
late.
Lord.
It's too late. But I'll when I do my top 5, I'll have an honorable mention without an uh actual trailer. But I quizzed these guys on this prior to the show. They gave me their top 5s, and there is a little overlap, but not too much overlap, because we're all 4 of us are gamers who enjoy various different genres. So I think this kind of turned out well in getting some versatility here. But we will start with Agent Deli, and
Well,
Deli, go ahead and give us with your number 5 game of the show.
so you said all of the shows, right?
Yep.
Okay. So my number 5 would be Plague's Tale Legacy.
Hmm?
Now, I wanted to let you guys know that my ratings are more for things that have surprised me or, piqued my interest, or games that allowed me to say like, "Oh, that's outside of my wheelhouse. That looks interesting," right? Some games, just when I see them, I'm like, "Sick, that's cool." But this game for my 5th slot really surprised me because I felt like I was guessing like so many different games. I was like, well, it could be like this, or it could be like this, it could be like this. And at one point in time, I thought it was like Rise, Son of Rome too. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I felt like it was all over the place for me, and I was so interested in it, like looking at the combat, looking at the visual fidelity, looking at the story, looking at the character designs, looking at the set pieces and some of the things that they were showing off and the animations. And I was like, wow, I really cannot pinpoint what exactly is this game. And then when it finally showed me the title, when it revealed itself to be a Plague's Tale game, I didn't necessarily have the fondest experience of the first one nor the second one.
Mm.
So this one is in my 5th slot because it really caught me off guard. It made me feel like the previous 2 entries did not have an effect on this one. I felt like I
what
would
was it
go play this
about?
game.
What was it about the previous 2 games that kind of turned you off?
The first one was the narrative and the pacing.
Okay.
So I didn't necessarily care too much about the actual characters. Like I know the little brother's annoying.
Yes.
And I know that, but
Alicia,
really
Alicia. I couldn't stand
really
that
the
kid.
pacing
Hunt
the
him
pacing was killing
into
me the first
a
2 chapters.
furnace. Go ahead. My
Yeah,
bad.
the first 2 chapters
You
were
put the little
really
boy, though. Yeah, with the weight of the
yeah,
world on his shoulders. You got to give him a little grace.
No,
it was
none.
really
I
tough.
gave him grace for
It
5
was
minutes when he kept. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I mean,
No, you're good. Yeah, the first one opened off strong narratively. I was like, okay, cool. I'm roped into the world. And then the gameplay felt like it was a different game. Like I was sneaking around, and then I had to tail this, I had this buddy that I had to care for. And then like again, the narrative pacing was really bad for me from what I remember. I felt like I was like, when does the game start? Is what a lot of my feelings were. And by the time I was like 4 or 5 hours deep in the game, I was like, this is it. And no knocking on them. Like it's a wonderful game, and it obviously sold well enough to do a sequel, then a side story. But it just wasn't for me. And I have to admit that not all games are for me. But that the first Plague's Tale was a miss for me. It could not hold my attention. And the second one, I liked the upgrades to the combat and stealth. I liked that Alicia like operated a little bit more, by herself, and it was a little bit more capable. But narratively, I felt like it fell short. Probably like chapters 6 through 8. I had issues there, and I don't know if I could chalk it up to being like, "Hey, I'm bad at the game," or like, "Hey, mechanically it just didn't work." But I felt like a lot of the things that they attempted to introduce just kind of fell to the wayside. Like, there's nothing better than just sneaking around in the bushes and stabbing people, or like they tried to, what was it, the slingshot? Like, hey
yeah, the
man, use the
slingshot.
slingshot to
Yeah.
make noise. And it's just like, yeah, it's not really that great. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay, I guess, So I felt like it attempted to do too many things at once. And then narratively felt like a different game as well, too. So those are my initial thoughts on the first 2. And then, of course, watching this trailer, all of that went out the window. I was like, wow, this actually looks interesting and cool. This looks like it would offer something fun. This looks like this is new, something familiar and fresh at the same time. So, yeah, it piqued my interest there.
Ooh. What's your number 4? And I know what your number 4 is. I forgot to get the trailer for it though. So just
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I think everyone was going to know what it looks like anyway. But go ahead.
Yeah, Persona 4.
I was like, where's this
Okay.
trailer? Where I missed it. Yeah.
So it was super funny because I was like, oh, it's Persona 4. And then when they showed off you walking around the town, I said, hey, yo. Like, I was like, wow, this looks good. This
I
looks
like Persona
really
4.
good.
It's I think Persona 4 is dope because it's like a little bit of a if you played 4 Golden or regular, like it's a little bit of a mystery, and it's a little different than Persona 3 and Persona 5 in that, like, because you're kind of like trying to figure out what's happening, right? And even though a lot of the character personalities are very reminiscent of what you got from 5, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm excited for this one too.
Yeah, it kind of made me sit up. I was like, dang, do I really have to buy this? Like, so it gives me number 4 just because it's a game that I already knew was like, oh, it's Persona 4, and then it just happened to surprise me yet again. And I was like, what? This is like what the 4th time Persona 4 is being made, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, how many more surprises do we have left? And somehow they managed to do it. So that's my number 4 pick solely for that alone.
Right.
That's a huge accomplishment.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Fable. It looks good. The voice acting, the mocap looks great. The animations look good. And then on top of that, they
Haley
dropped 30
Atwell.
minutes of footage.
Oh yeah, they did.
And,
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that.
and Haley Atwell, yeah. But like on top of that, they dropped 30 minutes of extra footage, and it was like I was a little disappointed that it wasn't at the show, or like it wasn't like a 10-minute excerpt and saying like, "Hey, more after the show," you know.
It
But
wasn't that exciting. I
overall, the
mean,
game looks great.
that 30 minutes of footage though was like it's all the Fable stuff that like people who have played Fable before get, but more, right? Like the whole find a girl, marry a girl, have some kids, buy a business, buy some homes, go to a homeless guy and have and give the homeless guy a job kind of thing. I think it's good to kind of show that after the show. If you're excited for the game, you would see you can sit down and watch that on your lunch break or something. But during a showcase, I think
Yeah.
I think them showing
Well,
off who the
that's
villain
why I
is
said like
was good. And having Haley
yeah, like
Atwell is
10
good.
minutes would have been 10 minutes would have been enough for me, right? Like, hey,
Yeah.
whoa, this is what the actual game looks and plays like. But I was very happy to see the game move along. I was very happy to see it look at the fidelity that it looks. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It looks like its own thing at the same time. It looks something like it feels like the logical evolution of Fable. Like as soon as I saw it, I went, of course, this is what Fable should be. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't know it could look like this, or I didn't know that I wanted this until I saw it. So I was like, wow, that's actually really impressive. Like it caught me off guard again. And then of course the 30 minutes of gameplay definitely sealed the deal for me, because I was like, wow, they stand by this product, right? Not only did they show off something cool, but they stand by it by saying, like, hey, check this out. And of course it's just more Fable stuff, right? So if you've played Fable before, this stuff is just more of the same. So it isn't necessarily impressive in that regard, but it's impressive that they stand by their product and say like, "Hey, check this out," and then just kind of shadow dropping that. So I was quite happy with what I saw. I look forward to it. I was hyped. I felt like the marketing did its job, and for that alone, I feel like that's a hard thing to do nowadays, especially in showcases where they don't show off a lot of gameplay. Like other showcases, I feel like it's this one was good. It was a good showing, and of course, like Fable's been one of those games that have been highly anticipated over the last few years. So it's nice to be able to actually finally come out and say like, "Hey guys, this is what the game looks like. This is what the acting is. This is what the story is. This is what it's going to be like." Finally, not just like a teaser, but like a actual reveal. So yeah, I was very happy with number 3, which is Fable.
Ooh. Number 2. I'm surprised about your number 2, by the way. But go ahead. Your number 2.
Number 2 is State of Decay 3. So I actually fought with what's his name? Death Singer
Good
for
old Death Singer.
all of like Scumcast.
That's a big surprise.
Because State of Decay 2, I was like its biggest critic. I was like, the game doesn't work. The systems are kind of messy. This is not what was promised. And I fought with Death Singer a lot over the years, and you guys have been there for that. And I've been very vocal about State of Decay 2, and what they need to nail for State of Decay 3. And again, more of the same. It really caught me off guard. It actually made me feel like I wanted to play it. And then as soon as the title dropped, I went, "Oh wow, that's crazy." And same thing, like it's like my feelings of State of K2 went out the window. It's like the marketing worked, and like it was extended gameplay footage. It was like actual combat. We saw some of the systems, like we saw the world building, we saw the animations, we saw things like tangible things that I can lock in on and say like, wow, there is actually love and passion and work and design and just like artistry behind that. And I think that's very, very important, right? Because not all the time does marketing nail what the game is going to be like. But here, I felt like seeing the game, I felt like I wanted to play it. And again, the biggest surprise, which is I've always been very vocal about State of Decay 2. So them flipping the coin and saying like, "Hey, do you actually want to come play this?" I'm like, "Damn, I do actually want to come play this." Yeah, it just really, 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 really surprised me, and everything about it looks fantastic. It feels like what we were promised years ago.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, especially like visually. You can see it, the difference in the visual fidelity now that it's on stronger hardware, of course, but like it looks
Yeah.
like what you expected the second game to be. To number one.
My number one is Gears of War. Gears of War E-Day. I've been very excited for this game, very vocal about it. I love Gears of War. I own COG tags. I bought the Gears of War limited edition Xbox. Very big fan of Gears of War. When I saw it and I saw that some of the new mechanics that they were going to show, I was like, wow, this looks really good, And to me, it just feels like there's a lot of legacy behind Gears of War, and it's always been the same for so long, for like, let's say like 20 years, right? Because I think it is 20 years now. This is the 20th anniversary, yeah. And seeing like actually running standing up and seeing like actually them adapting to cover, seeing like, I don't know, a jump button, like seeing
Yeah.
things like degrading in the world. I'm like, wow, this is again a natural evolution of what Gears of War could be. Like this just felt like everything I wanted from Gears of War, and which is crazy to even consider because like E-Day could literally be anything. They could do a lot of things with it, but it just felt like Gears of War. It just felt like more of the same. It felt like it is a natural evolution. It feels like, I don't even know how to describe it other than it feels cool. It feels cool to play Gears again. That's what it looks like. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, Gears didn't leave the zeitgeist. Maybe Gears has been cool this entire time. And yeah, like Gears of War won the showcase for me. It's definitely one of the standout things. Extended gameplay. Obviously, it had like an entire deep dive, so maybe a little bias on that one. Like it just has like its own hour, right? So like out of all the games shown between Summer Games Fest and what's it called, PlayStation, it's like we had Gears of War at like an hour, and then we had like God of War at like 20 minutes, right? So it's like it's very hard to, that's a large gap between the two. But the things that they showed off with Gears of War E-Day feels like a finished product. It feels like there's a lot of love and passion behind it. Even little things like bringing back the original chainsaw noise and like recording it in like high fidelity audio, it's like wow, or like taking beloved characters like Ty and making them feel the same, reminiscent of like the original look. It's like wow, it's like they did their homework, right? So as a fan, I was excited, and as a consumer, I was happy.
Cool. Ramon, you ready? Yeah,
Let's do
cool.
it.
Ramon will go. Okay, cool. What is your number 5, Ramon?
Alrighty, so this list was actually kind of tough because you said revealed, not shown. So I had to really
Oh,
think about it.
oh no, you could have just,
Uh,
if it was shown during the showcase, if it was something you've seen
oh,
already, then that was fine.
oh, okay. So when you said revealed, I went very literal with that. But still, like I like my list anyway.
Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
1866 Amsterdam.
Oh,
That game, like
that's your number 5?
that's my. Wait a minute. Oh no, sorry. Magicians, The Devil's Deal. That's my number 5.
Okay. I was just like, all
Yeah,
right. I think I got the list wrong, but
yeah,
my
I was
bad. Go ahead.
looking at my my original list before I put it in order. So I would say,
You're gonna have to sell me on this one.
half a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I kind of like the idea behind it. I need to see more, but what I really liked a lot about it was, even though I'm not typically a first person perspective gamer that much, I kind of I like the aesthetic. I like you're making it like the vibe of this game goes really well with first person, and you're this magician, and the devil comes to you. He's like, hey, whatever this deal is, he can make you the best or whatever it is. There's kind of a creep factor to it, and I can, if they pull off the way I received it, I feel like there'll be a building tension with this whole situation, because as with any story where you make a contract with the devil, like everything starts off cool. You have these cool abilities, or you excel at whatever it is the deal was, and then just things just progressively start getting a little worse and a little worse, and then finally the devil's like, hey, and he whips out the contract, like, remember this contract, and it's like, so how are you going to wiggle your way out of it? You know what I mean? And just the kind of mystery behind the story really kind of caught me. I like the art style. I like the magic in that he's like flipping rooms upside down and things like that. Like, I thought, those abilities were really cool. And I like the way the devil shifts gears. And what I mean by that is, at first he's talking like, hi, I'm going to give you what you want. And then the next minute he's like, and now run. You know what I mean? Like, just the way he like shifts, switches gears on you. It's like that's something that you would expect to receive from a fiend, right? A fiend that's trying to outsmart you in order to take ownership of your soul. So, I like kind of the potential story tension of dealing with this fiend, and everything that comes along with it. So, the magical abilities. And like I say, I feel like this wouldn't hit as hard if it was a third person game, because of the nature of the being you're dealing with, and the situation that it's probably placed you in. So I'm very, very intrigued by that one. Number 4, The Wolf Among Us 2.
Yeah.
Oh man, I played the first Wolf Among Us a few, like, what, like 5 years ago,
It
maybe
might be
5 years ago, something like
Telltale's
that.
best game.
I think it is. I think it is. I that is the only Telltale game out of the ones that I played where, when I made a dialogue decision, it didn't go way off, and I was like, wait, I didn't mean it like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was a in the Batman Telltale, when you're Bruce Wayne and you're talking to Catwoman, and you make a dialogue choice where it's like, no, I don't think we should do that, and he's like, you can grab your things on the way out or something. It was like really nasty. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not how that was presented. You know what I mean? Like, so, the Telltale games always seem to have that one decision where it's worded a lot less harsh than what actually happens. So,
Yeah, I feel you.
Wolf Among Us. Yeah, right. So, I mean, it's just so well written. The character is just, you don't realize just how much of a badass he is until you start seeing how all the other fairy tale characters are nervous around him. And then, you just progressively see just how much of a badass he is. It's like the first time he partially transforms, you're like, oh man, he's a badass. But then when he fully transforms, you're like, holy crap, he's like this, so, like, just so well done. So when I saw, like, when I originally way back saw that they were working on part 2, they went radio silent. And then when I saw the reveal, I wasn't expecting that at all. So I am very excited for Wolf Among Us 2, and I'm gonna replay the first one if they
Did you
if the remaster. What's that?
I was gonna say, would you recommend the remastered, or do you think I should just pick up the original?
I'm gonna wait and see what it looks like, because if the
Okay.
remaster has a significant difference, then I'll grab it. But if it doesn't look like it's that big of a difference, I'm just gonna grab the first one again on PC for cheap. I have a
Okay.
sickness where I'm replicating my entire console library on PC. That's probably the only one left. It's awful. I don't recommend it, but I secretly recommend it.
Yeah,
But
I've never played them,
Oh
so
man,
you
really?
oh,
know,
it's
I'm
so good.
assuming
It's so good.
that you guys would recommend it here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Highly
It's
recommend.
it's
Highly recommend.
so well written, and I'm a fan of the graphic novel Fables. I read the
Mhm.
entire series. It's fantastic. It's awesome reading. I would recommend it to anyone who reads comics to give it a go because it's awesome. The take on like this is the kind of like the IP that's the original. Let's take fairy tale characters and put them and make them mature. You know, make them like what would they be like in this real world? And you know, there was a whole like I think ABC created a whole TV series that was like a watered down version of it. But yeah, I've been fascinated with
It's
this
really
this universe for a while, and the Wolf Among Us really captured like the first one really captures the atmosphere of Fabletown, of Big B Wolf, of Snow,
oh
of
yeah.
all those characters, and it fits in so well with what the original writer created. It's good. It's very very good, and it's got some plot twists. It's got some plot twists.
Oh yes.
It's got an ending that will have you kind of sitting there like, hold up now, like you
Is it long?
no, it's like 5
No.
episodes.
Oh, sweet. Okay, sorry. You guys know, you guys are parents, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
as a parent, of like several children, it's like, dude, I'm still on like chapter 3 of 007. That game's been out a week.
Look,
No,
it's it's like
digestible.
That
I'll
game,
2
say
that game's been out longer than a
episodes.
it's
week.
digestible
It's like 2
episodes.
episodes. Sorry, not 2 episodes. It's like 2 hours an episode.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I like that, I like that. Because I think I finished a mixtape in like 12 days. It took me forever to
Oh
beat
my
that
god.
game for some god awful reason. Yeah, the game's not even that long. It's like 4 episodes, or it's like 4 hours at most,
4 hours.
but it
Yeah.
just I had to stretch it out for quite some time.
One of the things I like about Wolf Among Us is like what Slomo was saying, like the spin on the characters. For instance, Georgie Porgy's in it. He runs a nightclub called the Puddin' and Pie. You know what I mean? And it's like this dive nightclub. Like just it's so gritty, and the characters are just the modern gritty spin that it has on them is just so well done.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
check it out. I'll check it out.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. It's one of Telltale's best work. And here's a little known fact. Dispatch that came out last year, late last year, and you know
Yeah.
a lot of people love it. Those
Yeah, I had a good
devs,
time with that.
I did too. Ad Hoc Studio, who made that, are former developers from Telltale, and they
Okay.
were before they left Telltale, the new Telltale. They did some foundational work on A Wolf Among Us too. So if you enjoy Dispatch, you probably will like what this is going to have in store.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
All right. So
All right, your
what's
number 3, Ramon.
yeah.
Number 3, 1666 Amsterdam. That really, like, I just found that so intriguing. Like, it was during the witch hunts. Is it during the witch hunts? I'm trying to remember.
I guess
Um,
so. I mean, I guess I kind of
yeah,
got that vibe that it was about witches. Um, yeah.
yeah, I think so. But yeah, like just it's obviously a dark story. It's dark. The witch abilities and just you know, the whole vibe of it. Like it's man, I like I'm using the word aesthetic so much, but I like the aesthetic. I like the way it looked. I like the aesthetic. I like the kind of dark nature of it. And I'm really like extremely curious as to what this story is about. Like, what's going on during the time period, what your abilities will be, and just yeah, I found it so intriguing. Like just what the combat system is going to be like. I like stealth. I know you don't like it, stealth slow-mo, but I like stealth. But I also like good combat as well. And I'm wondering what the mix of melee versus stealth along with magic will be. So that's really got my interest.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Ocarina of Time remake. They didn't show anything,
That's
so I
crazy.
mean,
I'm so sorry, Ramon. That is crazy.
well, you gotta cut me some slack because I was
Nah, you're good.
going
I'm
off
just
of the
hating for. I'm just
literal.
hating for a little bit.
No. Well, I'm going off of the literal. The word used in the request was revealed, not shown. So I was
You're
being
good. You're
very
good.
literal by going where it was revealed. But I mean, they didn't show anything, so that was unfortunate. But Ocarina of Time was amazing. Like I am a huge fan of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and you know, Ocarina of Time. I can't say 100% that it's my favorite above those because it's been so long since I've played them that nostalgia could be coloring my lens. But based on what I remember, I could probably say Ocarina of Time is my favorite Zelda of all time. Um,
Hear a lot of
like
people
I just
say
have
Oh
that.
such
man.
fun.
Oh
Yeah, like
man.
it's the only reason why I kept my N64 as long as I did. Like I played it twice. I played it and beat it, I think 2 or 3 times before I got rid of my N64. So, I haven't played it since, and I don't do handhelds. So, I didn't play it on the remaster on the DS. So when I heard that it was a possibility, I was excited. So when I saw the reveal, it sucked. The reveal sucked. I mean, you just show them cradled up in a little
Speak for
cradle.
yourself.
I don't know. I hated that reveal because they didn't show you anything. They just show this little
Exactly.
fat arm baby
All they had to
Link.
show was all they had to show was a logo. That's it.
But here's the thing, it's
All
supposed to
of
come
it.
out this year, but you're doing the teaser trailer, like it's supposed to come out in 3
They,
years?
they're gonna have a whole Nintendo Direct for
I think
that thing. Don't
that's what I was
worry.
going to say. I think he's going to have a dedicated direct. So the reveal I did not like, but I liked that it was revealed, and I'm like hyped for that because they're gonna modernize it in some way, of course. But like, man, if they just keep it, if they keep the core game as it is, and just quality of life, modernizing a few things, then I will be absolutely ecstatic. So like, I am super excited for an Ocarina of Time remake. Um, as I've said before, the sole reason why I have a Switch 2 right now, there's two reasons. The reason I have a Switch 2 right now is because I knew that eventually a Zelda was going to come out, even though I didn't know it was going to be this one. I knew a Zelda was going to come out and that I was going to want it. And second, I knew the price was going to go up. And so I got it before the price went up. So the
I'm
whole
going to
reason I
be
have that Switch.
40. I'm going to be 40 before I get a Twilight Princess remake.
Okay, see, you can stop right there because I don't even want to think about how old I am.
Yeah, don't think about it, dude.
All right,
No, I'm not. I
what's
don't
your
even want to think about
what's your number one game?
it. God of War Lao Fei. Man, when I tell you that I love the story. I love the Norse story of God of War. Some of my favorite games. The evolution of Kratos, like just and everything. I just love it. So I'm already a fan. And during Ragnarok, when they'd have the flashbacks of him and Faye, I remember thinking, I was like, she was that much of a badass? Like she went toe to toe with Thor. That axe is not Kratos' axe. That's her axe. So not only did she have an axe to match Mjolnir, but she went toe to toe with Thor. Like, I mean, what else needs to be said? She's a badass. So I just remember with those flashbacks of him and of her and Kratos, I was like, damn, dude, it would be cool to have a game centered around her. And then we got it. And like I'm just watching this, and then the combat, you can see little echoes of things they used from God of War, like the parry. The parry looks just like the other God of War parries, which is fine. I think it's great, but her whole combat movement, like everything, is just it's different. She's not as her combat isn't as heavy. It's more light and acrobatic, and it just looks like so much fun. Uh, you know, um, and one thing that I like, a lot of people dismissed it and think it's stupid and everything like that, but the cube, they don't do things at
Hilarious.
random. But the thing is, they don't do things at random. Like everything that's in those stories is there for a reason. That cube, I think I mean, I think it's not a stretch to say that there's more to that cube than we think it is. But I am intrigued by that cube for a number of things that they could possibly do with it. So, and then also the sword with the ribbon, like all of that stuff. Sekhmet is in it. And then I watched a video, I saw it actually. Shout out to Eric Jackson. He sent me the Instagram video. Someone put a split screen side by side of when you remember when that light shone and Sekhmet was like, looked at the light and then she jumped on that giant beast and went off towards it. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the very well, someone posted that side by side with Kratos blowing the horn to usher in Ragnarok
Mm-hmm.
and all those lights lighting up in that chamber. So that means and so the implications of the timeline are just intriguing because at first I was like, okay, so this is going to take place parallel to 2018 because you think back and Atreus was like, I heard mom's voice. He kept saying that over and over again. He heard mom's voice, and Kratos is like, what are you talking about? So I'm thinking it's just going to take place alongside 2018. But if that event happened during Ragnarok, that means that Lao Fei's journey spans both games,
Yeah, I think it does
spans
because there was a
parallel.
part, or at least I saw someone on Twitter lined up where Kratos died briefly fighting Thor and lined it up with in the trailer where Faye sees Kratos and he helps her up and then he disappears. And the time frame of when he died
Oh,
is
okay.
is the exact like where he disappeared is when Thor basically electrocuted his heart and brought him back to life so he can fight him some more. It was like it lined up
Interesting.
perfectly.
Oh, because that's the afterlife of the gods. So that brief moment he was dead, he was in that afterlife. But then when Thor basically jumped him back to life, that's when he left.
Yeah,
Interesting. I didn't even think about that. Huh.
pretty dope.
How did I miss that? Oh, yeah, that is so intriguing. Oh man, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one too. Forte,
Yo.
your top five. Give me number five of your top five.
Well, you know what? Well, audibles have to happen here. We're not going to change the order, but I have to add. I don't know what the heck I was thinking when I did this list because number 5 should be number 7, but I have to give my honorable mention because I'm just going to leave them at that. Hellblade, Senua. I don't know what I
Okay.
was thinking. As soon as I saw that game, I was like, "Yo, they're doing exactly what we wanted them to do." Combat, which is literally the only thing that's ever wrong with Hellblade, is not enough combat and enough variety in the combat. When I saw her pick up a sword and kick it and throw it, I was like, "Oh yeah, we are here. We are officially about to get some real combat." I'm just praying that as deep as the story goes in the game. But that's all I'll leave with that. And Final Fantasy Resonant, I didn't watch the Nintendo State of Play. I watched it after I sent you that what's the name? I already knew. I already knew about my number one being announced and everything. So that was kind of it. And then I just saw the trailer for it. But Final Fantasy Resident getting a remake of the original one, and you guys know I love pixel art. I love Bravely Default. I love Triangle Strategy. I love all of those types of games. I mean, and to be able to finally get that game in a more remastered way to the traditional art is going to be incredible. Like I pre-ordered that game as soon as I saw it at the store. So, and that comes out this year in October. So I can't wait for that. But number 5, yeah, I can't wait for that. Number 5, Tomb Raider, because I love Tomb Raider. I love the aura of it. It feels like this one is going back more to the classic style. I mean, shoot, we got dinosaurs and T-Rexes running around it. Double 9 I was like double 9 millimeters. I was like, bro, I was like, you are speaking to me, because I said, this is all I wanted to see. Like it even seems like they went back and I won't say they dumbed down just the overall, like the look of it. It looks more subdued versus like, definitive edition, like more ultra realistic and all that stuff like that. This one looks like it's more of a grounded, more experience, and then just looking at the environments. Because the one thing I love about Tomb Raider, I always like whenever I do anything on my PC, I always load up a Tomb Raider game because graphical fidelity is top notch, especially when you're inside of those different benchmarks. You can see the settings and the draw distances and stuff. And just watching that trailer, I was like, yo, this looks really good. So they tried to let you know that we're not skipping on the experience of the size of the world, but we're going to bring it back to what everybody loved about Tomb Raider, just the unpredictability of it, dinosaurs running around trying to eat you, and the human element being a thing, along with a story that, when you sit there and look at it on hindsight, you're just like, what were they thinking? But I don't care, because that's what I grew up playing. So I feel like that was a game. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yo, this is, I never knew I wanted a Tomb Raider like that again until I saw it. So that was my number 5.
I'm in there day one.
Yeah, day one. Number 4, listen. The Last Ronin. I am a huge TMET fan. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I read all 5 comics of the miniseries for The Last Ronin. And
it's a dope story, man.
It's so great. It's very tragic. It is, but it's great all to be the same. And to be able, and the fact that Platinum is making it could be good or bad, depending on what version of Platinum we get here.
Hideki is not there, so
that's why I say, right? I say for better or for worse, it could be bad, but I choose, and this is being a game where you choose to believe that the studio that brought you all of these fast-paced action adventure games is still in there somewhere, and this game could be incredible. They, like, once again, like Ramon said, all they did was just show the Seward and the fighting through the Seward, and you if you know the story, you already know what's going on. And the whole story of Michelangelo being the last Ronin and all of that story, you're taking the most goofiest version of all the turtles and making it a serious, more gridded approach. And it's gonna have, it's third person, first of all, and we already know it's going to be more of a tend of what, like in the God of War set, because it's not going to be the acrobatical flying around version of the turtles, because he's older, he's more gritty, he's more beaten up, so it's going to be more intentional with the fighting in the game. And the fact that
did you just spoil the story?
No, I didn't.
I hope it's gory.
Yeah, that's all I hope. It's just gory as heck.
Because it's kind of like a mystery who the last Ronin is, right?
No, it's not. It is.
Yes, it is.
Not a mystery. No, it's not, brother. Everybody knows who the last Ronin is.
No, they don't. If they haven't read the story.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Whatever. But with that,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert,
Spoiled.
whatever. But can't wait to play that one. What was I about to say? What was that? 4? 3
Yeah, I think
is
that's 4, yeah.
yeah, that was 4. 3 Final Fantasy oh my god. I'm
Revelation.
about to sneeze. Hold on. Okay,
Because
there we go. Thank you. Had to mute myself.
you're
Listen, I've been holding off finishing Rebirth until I heard when this game was. I mean, they still haven't given a date. It's probably not coming out till next year, if not late next year. Because I'm gonna do a playthrough of all 3 of them, pretty much in quick succession. Because I want this whole story to be like kind of fresh in my mind as I'm going from game to game to game. And you know, being in the overworld, like the vastness of the overworld that they were showing, bro. I always wonder, like, okay, I remember playing the original, and you would just fly around. Yeah, you would.
Should I give it another chance? The part 1 just did not hook me. I just struggled to.
You have to get past Midgard, like the beginning parts of it, like, and then you're in the slums of Midgard. It kind of opens up after that because paced in the very first parts of it. Then it slows down a little bit. Then you could kind of, if you get stuck in that whole fetch quest part, it will definitely drag on. But if you kind of just push through that and just get to the main story, it's really, really good. And you'll burn through it. You just can't get caught up in all those side quests that they try to make you do or have you do throughout the game. But it's really, really good. Once I got through that part, it was very much more enjoyable. And then you start getting like the cues that are kind of what fakes remake what it is versus what the original was from what you remember. So it's always good to get those like comparisons as you're playing the game. You say, yeah, this is how this happened in this, and I don't know what they're doing now. And then, you know, the more and more you go, the better and better it gets. So
Yeah.
I haven't beat, like I said, I haven't beat
doing both of those back to back. I tried to do that.
Oh, I'm doing. I have to do them all back to back because it's. I literally put the game off it. I mean, what are they like? I think one was like 37 hours for me to go through, and I'm at about 18 in the second one. So
Yeah,
I'm probably just going to restart it. But what were you about
There's
to
a
say?
lot of extra content. I was gonna say there's a lot of extra content that like recontextualizes things and like adds to the world, which I'm cool with. I have no problem with
Yeah.
that. I'm willing to go into Final Fantasy VII with a brand new lens, right? As I own a black label copy of the original, right? I love it to
Ooh,
death.
Black Label. Let's go.
But man, I just for some reason part 1 just really like the graphics didn't impress me. Like it wasn't like that wasn't the hook that got me here, right? I was like, I want to play the story, and it just I don't know, man. It just did not get me. So I'm gonna give it
Yeah.
another honest try when the third one comes out. And just like you, I'm gonna run them back to back to back. But I mean, Enate in the chats that just said the same thing. Like that first part was a little bit of a slog too. So I didn't know if I was just me, or I didn't know if it was like a unpopular opinion, because you know everybody on Earth loves the new Final Fantasy. You know, part 1
no,
and part
yeah,
2.
yeah. I think, you know, the only reason I got through the first one is because I love like Final Fantasy.
Right.
I've been telling people for the longest that Square needs to come out with this game so they can print money. I've been saying it for years, and I was like, I don't know what's taking them so long. And I mean, I couldn't go back on it and not support it. It like I said, the game wasn't good. I wouldn't do it, but the fact that it was enticing enough and they changed, they leave enough out there, and that's the thing. Once you get past the first part, they leave just enough mystery out there where you're like, huh, this seems different. Where are they going with this? So it's not like a 1-to-1. It's like a 1 to like 1.2 or 1.3 when it comes to like the comparisons. And then it drifts further and further apart the more and more you get into it. And then you start realizing that, oh, there's some real foolery going on here. So yeah, definitely give it a try. But that's definitely the one I'm looking forward to. so I can go through them all. And when I saw it, I was like, finally, now we know what the last R is going to stand for, Revelation, and it's going to be a great one. But my number three, or number two,
But
I'm sorry.
before you move on to your number two, I just wanted to say, what may help people kind of like, I guess, help them get through the first one is understanding that it's not really a remake. They tried to like kind of fool people into thinking it's a remake. And most remakes are just like, what's different is the game design and visuals are fully upgraded, but for a story, it's essentially the same story. This is more of a sequel than a remake.
Yeah.
I won't say anything for like spoilers wise, but like as you play it further, you start to realize what's really happening. And that explains the differences that happen as well. And I also think combat wise, it just gets better and better. Like the combat's good in remake. In the DLC with Yuffie, it gets even better.
It's even better.
And then in Rebirth
Alright.
is even better than that. So like
Way better.
yeah, and now they're in Revelation, you're getting Sid, you're getting Vincent. They're making now the outfits that they wear provide different aspects of things that they can do in combat. They're just further refining off of the foundation they built with remake. I would say yeah, definitely the side quests, like helping some kid find his cats is unnecessary. You don't need to do that.
Boo, skip.
Don't
Just skip
go
that.
looking for no.
Just skip
Don't
that.
try to get no chickens. Don't do none of that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
skip all that mess. Man.
Yeah,
That
you don't
mess
need to
is
do none of
Alright,
that stuff.
alright.
You're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that like love revisiting things with new lenses, and like I love change. Like I know that's strange, and people are like, "Oh man, it's my favorite game. Don't change anything." It's like I welcome it. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's never going to tarnish the original. Like I can always play the original. You know,
Well, you
so
know-
Exactly. Still
I'm cool with
available.
this
It's
being
still
like a new, like its own thing. You know.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that really, because I was already looking forward to it, but I ain't gonna lie, and it's gonna get old for a lot of people very fast after they do it a lot. But I always wondered, like when you were in the overworld in the original, you're riding around in the airship, and then you would just go
Yeah.
to an area, you would click on the screen, and then you would just be on the ground. The fact that they actually added you skydiving in and pulling out a parachute, it's going to get old for a lot of people. They're going to be like, oh, I got to skydive off the ship to get to where I'm going. But for me, the experience of doing it and seeing it every time is going to be like, bro, this is a very, it seems simple, but it's something that you take for granted when you just click on a screen back in 1997 and you would just show up on the screen and you have like this cool animation where you're jumping off, and granted they're probably using it to like hide loading screens and stuff as or load the world underneath you as you're going down. But I really like that little thing that they kind of just added to just bring more realism and like life to the game and stuff. So just little
sure you
things
can
like
fast
that
travel.
I like. Yeah, well, fast travel is still going to be a thing. I mean, you're not going to just go all the way on highway everywhere in the world, but the fact that when you do it, that's
was cool.
there, that was pretty cool, and I really like that. Number
that.
two, number two, E-Day. I saw that game,
Fire.
and I was like, I saw
Straight
that game,
heat.
and I saw that game, and I was like, bro. I was like, first of all, I said it was SloMo before he left that day. I was like, the verticality in the game is incredible. The fact that like I said, it's once again, it goes back to simple things. You can skydive to your locations in Final Fantasy. Marcus Phoenix can literally scale a refrigerator and go over it. Whereas something like that in the original Gears, you were confined to whatever 3-foot object it was in front of you that you could vote over. Now you can climb up towering things in front of you and flank people. And it, like I said, it seems simple, but it's something that kind of needed to be had. It gives more more of a perspective to the
options in
battlefield
combat.
that you to what you were actually experiencing when you were playing the game. I can't wait to see how that plays itself out in multiplayer and stuff. But when it comes to like, you know, the movement, it seems like it moves a little bit more fluid, more faster. I mean, granted, it's a newer game on a newer engine, so you would expect all those different things. I like the overall Gears never wanted for gore, but the fact that it seems like they're kind of amping it up and they're still going back to like the tried and true things like immersion holes and throwing grenades in them and then being able to have weapons that actually do it too. I was super impressed with the fact, like you said earlier, you both said it earlier about them going back and capturing the original sound of the Lancer and the saw. I was like, yo, just watching that was like, oh man, that's really, really cool. And it seems like they're getting back to the darker side of what Gears used to be. Like, you know, not the outdoors, wide open vistas and stuff like that, which are cool when it comes to like the setting and stuff. But I also feel like we need to like bring it more personal. And you're still going to have those vistas and those draw distances and stuff that's going to like show you the complete shape and size of the world, but it's going to be more confined. It's going to be more personal. It's going to be more darker. You see a lot of different things when you are being, you know, you have to depend on the other characters around you to basically help get you out of situations and stuff too, especially probably in the co-op aspect of it. So I was really, really impressed what I saw with it. I knew it was going to be something that was going to look really good, but I didn't expect it to be as refined as I saw, because you know I haven't been like really into Gears like that for a long time, but getting a chance to see like where it all started, like this is like a brand new beginning for people that never played Gears of War, so this kind of gets you on the ground floor and running. So that would be my number 2. And yes, Mr. Deli, you are gonna say, come on, man, when it comes to me too, because I'm going to tell you right now that Ocarina of Time is number 1 on my list. Listen, I didn't need to see, like the moment that it was rumored that it was possible.
Let's go.
Listen, the moment they rumored it, I was like, if this happens, there is no other game I'm looking forward to. This game,
I'm happy that you guys are happy.
This is literally the only game. Like
that's the equivalent.
Like,
that's the equivalent of if you like it, I love it.
I love it. I'm hyped because you guys are hyped. You know what I mean?
Listen, this game is like how, like when I kept saying Square needs to go out and make Final Fantasy VII and remake it. This is what I kept saying. Like, bro, what's up, Nintendo? Ocarina of Time? Can we please get a remake? Can we get something? And finally, they're doing it. The ice dungeon, the water dungeon. Oh my God, Greedo's Fortress. I'm just thinking about the past, the present. I'm just thinking about all the different things that you could do in this game when I played it initially on N64. And I was like, I think just like you, Ramon, I think I beat it twice. I may beat it 3 times or played through it 3 times, but fully beat it twice. And it was something that really, really stood to me for the longest times. That was my number 1 game of all time. Like, over time, things passed it. Mass Effect 2 became my favorite. Breath of the Wild became better than it to me because I just love the experience that Breath gave me. But right now, I can tell you right now, if they just live up to what the expectation of this game could be and what it should be, they could do no wrong in my eyes with this game. And that's asinine, because I put full belief that this game is going to be incredible. And yes, I will agree with you, Ramon. The reveal was terrible. They just showed him sleeping with his thumb in his mouth on the cot. But guess what? I always talk about all I need is a logo. And they gave me a little bit more than a logo. And I was like,
I'm not sure if I would have liked it better if it was a logo or not. Just seeing him sleeping in a crater.
Yeah, boy, that's what I was saying. He was sleeping with his thumb in his mouth, and I was like,
Yeah, that
oh,
was somebody in his mouth. He's
I
getting his
don't
Baba
think
out of
his
his.
I don't think his thumb was in his mouth. I mean, I'm
no, it was
literally
close
looking at it
enough.
right now. His thumb
It's
wasn't
close
Why
in
is
his
head
enough.
mouth.
so big?
Listen, his
Yeah, why-
head.
His hand was over his
Why is his
shoulder.
so big?
His thumb was in his mouth.
Man, his
Playing
head
on
is
big head
pretty big.
mode.
Listen, his head is. I
Big
mean, his
head
head is
link.
pretty big in. Well, his head is, to be honest, pretty big in Ocarina of Time. So, yeah, this game is. I can't wait for this game to come out. Whenever it comes out, take your time, Nintendo. If it's next year, whatever, that's fine by me. But Ramon, you know what this means though? If we're getting an Ocarina of Time, that must mean at some point we're gonna get a Majora's Mask, and then the trifecta is
I want
complete.
that because I never got to play
No.
that. I never got to play
And
it.
I'm telling you, when that happens, the trifecta is complete. If once we get Ocarina, we are going to get Majora's Mask, and once we get Majora's Mask, those will be my number 1 and number 2 games of all times if they do it right.
Oh,
But
man.
Dude, they're
hope
gonna
so.
remake
I
Wind
never got
Waker before they hit Twilight Princess, man.
no, listen. I'm sorry, Deli. I'm so sorry, but
It's okay.
Majora's
It is.
Mask,
I
Majora's
never
Mask
got to play it. I want to play
will
that.
probably be next on that list, bro. Unfortunately,
Do you own
But you know
all the
what?
copies? I'm assuming like this
I-
is going to be like
I
the
do.
8th copy of
I
of
do.
Ocarina of Time you owned.
I own both copies on. I still have my N64 copies of both games, and I have the version for 3DS because I was a
Holy
person that
crap.
played on
You get it on the Wii
3DS and stuff.
and the Wii U?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's on Skyward Sword is on Wii.
Okay.
So, but with that being said, those are mine. I appreciate it, and it's going to be great. But turning it over to the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that goes out there and makes everybody cry when he plays video games when it comes to shooters.
Oh my
SloMo.
gosh.
What is your top 5, starting with number 5, sir? Or your honorable mention, because you said your honorable mention.
I gotta do it, and I feel terrible that I didn't even think about it until
Dang.
we were like discussing it, and I started listing all the showcases, and then I remembered. I said the Future Game Show, and the only reason why I even was going to watch the Future Game Show is because of this one game, and that game is Exodus by
Oh.
Oh wow.
now I can't remember the name of the developer. Oh,
Yes.
Archetype Entertainment. These guys are former BioWare devs, and this game is like, if anyone could say their game is a spiritual successor or something, this game is clearly a spiritual successor to Mass Effect. And
1000%.
they showed
1000.
like a entire mission from beginning to end. And the extended gameplay, it looked fantastic. The combat looks great. The story looks great. The characters are interesting. And it really has that like BioWare, old school BioWare vibe that current day BioWare completely lacks. And it also has
Well,
its,
you know, current day BioWare is not the same BioWare you
yeah.
grew up with.
Yeah, they're not the same people. Clearly so, because the lead writer for Jade Empire, Knights of the Old Republic, and the majority of the Mass Effect trilogy is his name is Drew Karpyshyn, and he is the lead writer on Exodus. And all the top directors on Exodus were the top director, well, outside of Casey Hudson, top directors in the Mass Effect game. So like it's got all of the things that people loved about those games. And I'm really fascinated by the idea of using time dilation as a gameplay mechanic. And for those who don't quite understand what that means, it's essentially, you know how like you'll play these kind of games.
like Singularity.
Well, yeah, okay. So you will make very important decisions that can cause massive changes in a game, and then like maybe in the next game you may see the repercussions of your decisions. In Exodus, you will see the repercussions of your decisions very quickly, and they will be like civilization defining decisions that can like change the entire course of like a planet or entire civilization. It's like some really like wild things that they are attempting to do that are like no one's really kind of done to this scale in an RPG. And I'm just glad that someone's actually attempting to try to do something unique and different in that arena. So that shouldn't be my honorable mention. It should be like my number 2, but because I forgot it, I'm just gonna make it the honorable mention. Now,
It's all good. I have a bunch of honorable mentions myself I left out, so don't feel
yeah.
bad.
My number 5 is shocked me now that I think about it is Stellar Blade Blood Rain.
Really?
Yeah, this game really
Interesting.
surprised me. Like, well, and I liked Stellar Blade, the first one. It was okay. Like, the combat was good, but it didn't like wow me. The story was cheeks.
Yeah.
It made no sense. I know why, and I said cheeks on purpose because that's why people, a lot of people bought the game was because it was about cheeks, right? But what this one looked like, and it's something I knew of Shift Up, the developer acknowledged that the story wasn't the best for Stellar Blade. So to me, that signaled to me that you're gonna do better. Visually, well, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, this is Stellar Blade," because the art style, the visual fidelity, like the environment and things. Well, no, you didn't see any cheeks until much later in the trailer. Like at this part, when you're seeing on the Jumbotron, I knew this was like some Stellar Blade related because it's the same is art design of that like vending machine, and then some of like the clothing and things. It all reminded me. It's very much the same art that you saw in Stellar Blade. But what really sold me on this game was the combat because Eve in the first game uses a sword. This girl's just straight hands. Where people called Stellar Blade Stellar Yams, I'm calling this game Stellar Hands because she throwing hands like crazy. Like the combat had me like, what? Hold on, man. Like she's like you even see her kind of like dipping to dodge attacks like a boxer would, and then counter punching, and I'm like, yo, okay, this is I can get with this, and so it really shocked me in what I saw from that, and I'm really interested in seeing what they do, especially considering this is like a very much an upstart developer, um, and typically when a developer comes out with something and they get a solid first game, I'm very interested in what they do in their second game because I love to see whether they shore up their weaknesses and come up with a stronger entry on the second release. So I'm really fascinated about that one. Now, my number 4 is it's like Delhi, that Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy really impressed me as well. I enjoyed the first Plague Tale game because I liked the story. I that little boy annoyed me, but the story was good.
Hmm.
I got tired of the gameplay though, of the whole using a slingshot. Even in boss fights, you're using a slingshot. Like I remember one boss fight, you're fighting like an armored soldier, and you're using the slingshot to like knock his armor off, so then you could hit him in the head with it. It's like a lot of the combat was sneaking around, like puzzle like destroying barriers so that the rats could take down enemies for you kind of thing. Like it's a lot of stealth stuff that I'm just not like I'm not a stealth dude. This is more my speed. This girl out here with 2 blades, 2 knives, and she just cutting people up. And I'm like, yeah,
It looks
that's what
serious.
yeah, that I'm into that. And if you got like a
Yeah.
similar story, um, it clearly is in the same universe as the first two Plague Tale games. But if you got like a similar like story beats to the first game, then this is definitely, I think, could be a sleeper. Uh, the second game I didn't even finish because it was just kind of more of the same on the combat stuff that I didn't
You guys are
really.
hurting my heart.
Hey, I'm
Yeah, like
sorry,
it got
bro.
stale, you know what I mean?
It got
And
very
I'm a big
stale.
stealth guy. I'm a huge stealth guy. So to me, I'm like, yo, if the combat got stale, then I really don't know what to say.
Yeah, but like this looks good, and and I think Asobo is a good studio. I think they do good work, and I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
it's dropping soon.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like that really surprised me too.
yeah,
Yeah, in August. I'm hoping I can grab it when it comes out. It's
yes.
really soon.
So that was my number 4. My number 3, similar to Forte, is the TMNT Last Ronin, and I'm not going to
Let's go.
spoil anything like Forte did, but what knowing Platinum is on this, the one thing people can't say about Platinum is they don't know how to design good combat. Like, sure, everything else may be like they hit and miss on a lot of other things, but when it comes to combat, they normally nail that. And for Last Ronin, if you've read the graphic novel, you know how brutal it is. And I'm just imagining like the different story beats from the story and them implementing that in this game and how dope it's going to be. And just off of just that 1 minute teaser, I saw various parts that basically reminded me of aspects of the story that I know they're going to touch on. I'm not going to say them, but I was like, oh, I know what they're referencing when they just showed that. And just and even though the story is about the last remaining Ninja Turtle, I anticipate that we'll be able to use the other ones as well, like through flashbacks and stuff like that. So it's it's got a lot of potential, and it's been like highly anticipated ever since it was first announced that they were making it. And so I just can't wait to play that. That's going to be, when it comes out, it's a day one for me. My number 2, and it really kind of should be my number 3, but I messed up on Exodus. But my number 2 is Fable, and I love Fable. Like, I love Fable 1. I love Fable 2. Fable 3, not so much. Fable 3 was a misstep.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say don't leave out the third one.
yeah, the third one, I could pretend like the third one never happened, as far as I'm concerned.
What
But
about Fable Legends, the one that never became?
I was actually look, I'm so much of a Fable fan. I was in that beta. I was
Oh, you
in
was in the beta for that
Yeah,
one?
yeah. Like I was there from the very beginning when it was essentially like it was
Jesus.
like Evolve. It was like Evolve, where it was like one player is the villain, and then there's like 4 heroes, and the villain is like designing ways to try to stop them. It ran slow. It was barely keeping that 30 FPS on the Xbox One. It was beautiful, but it played poorly. And everyone that was playing it was telling them this is a misstep. You get like, we want Fable. We don't want this. This isn't Fable.
Right.
And at Lionhead was transitioning the game. By the time they canceled it, it was basically turning into a multiplayer version, like a massive multiplayer version of what Fable is, where you could choose your hero, and they had like, instead of all the hero, like they basically took the assets from the evolved style of Fable with all the heroes that they were creating and going to put in. And you could take one of those heroes and then actually have a story that they had built out from it. The last time I had played Fable Legends, it actually was pretty fun. And I was getting excited for what they were doing, but then that's when they pulled the plug on not just the game, but the entire studio, because they were well over budget at that point. They basically had made 2 different games at that point. And I mean, it sucks that we'll never get a chance to play it, but this looks like exactly what I want from Fable. And Playground's awesome. I mean, like they've nailed Forza Horizon, and clearly this is definitely a different endeavor. a different challenge. You're doing an action RPG, but they seem to be really hitting on the theme of Fable, like the spirit of it, as well as giving people what they're looking for from it. And so I'm happy about that. Haley Atwell, she's not just the only big name in there. They've had some other big name actors that they've shown.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the way they revealed her, because in the beginning you think she's another hero, because they've kind of done like these introductions of heroes before in marketing the game, and then the more she speaks, you're starting to get a feeling like she's not the hero here, and then you start to see, as she's really starting to kind of sound a bit unhinged, that oh, okay, you're the villain. You're the villain of this story. I love the way that gets slow rolled. And then you start seeing her fighting the heroes that she's talking about. And it really kind of hits you when she says, they're not really heroes. They think they're heroes, but they're not. They're not heroes. I'm a hero. I'm the hero here. I'm like, yeah, see, I love that aspect of villains where they
I
got
love that part.
layers and they think, because like all bad people don't really think that, like really good writing is when the bad guy
Nobody
thinks
thinks they're
he's the
the
good guy, right? Like he thinks I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what's best for all of you,
Nobody
kind of
thinks they're
thing.
the villain.
Right. And so I love that they have a villain like that with an actress that can really, convey that well. So like all that's great. It looks great. I can't wait to play that. That's one of my top games next year.
Nice.
But my top game this year, Fire Emblem.
Eh,
Ooh, Fire Emblem
Fortune's
4 Houses.
Weave. 4 houses.
Yeah, basically the closest we're gonna get,
Four
right?
houses.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to play this game. Like in September, like I Wolverine comes out like a week later. I don't care. Sorry, Wolverine.
That's
No,
what I'm
I was
talking about.
do not
actually
care.
disappointed with Wolverine.
I'm
I was let
pre-ordering
down.
Wolverine. I'm
Like,
pre-ordering it.
oh, what, Wolverine or Fire Emblem?
Yeah. No, I'm not interested in Fire Emblem, but Wolverine, day one.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I actually, with the Wolverine reveal, I was let down, and then Fire Emblem came out, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's day one." I'm locking in that pre-order right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, you guys, I will get the Wolverine later. I'm gonna be all in on Fire Emblem. Look, you got 4 different characters. Sounds like I'm beating the game 4 different times before I look at anything else. That's where I'm rolling with this. Like this is
I'm heavy behind Theodora.
that's
Heavy.
that's my first playthrough, Theodore.
Yeah,
That's the
Theodora,
first
then
one.
Lita, yeah.
Yeah. So look, I just got finished doing another playthrough of 3 Houses recently. This it seems to be a prequel of 3 Houses. It takes place in the Dagda region. So if you
Yeah,
play
I
3
think so,
Houses, like Dagda was like north of Fodlan, where the first game takes place, and you can definitely tell that because you see a lot of people who are people of color, they a little darker complexion up there. There's one like person originally from this region in 3 Houses, and that's Dedu. So you can kind of tell like how a lot of characters may seem. But I love the fact they're doing a different region. I love it's a prequel because you got Sophis in there, and you got her before she came to Fodlan, and so there's so much more of things that we weren't aware of from the previous game in 3 Houses, of a time period that we don't have any information on. And I'm just super excited for this. It looks
I am too.
amazing. The combat
awesome.
looks great. Yeah, this is the reason why I bought my Switch too. I
Insta
said,
lock. You saw this and you were like, "Yup."
yep, Forte can tell you. I was like, I'm not buying a
I
Switch
remember.
2 until I see Fire Emblem. And it's like almost like Nintendo said. He said, "What now? Okay, show him Fire Emblem."
Right.
Can you
And
believe it's been 7 years?
it has.
It has.
I just saw you
'Cause,
because it
like,
came out in
Engage came out, like, 3 years
20.
ago.
Yeah, Engage
we
was
get
not
2
good. It was a
We get
disappointment.
well, I thought it was alright. We get 2 Fire Emblem games a decade, alright? This one's a lock for me.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm so hyped for this. This is oh man, I can't wait. So yeah, that's my top 5. Appreciate you guys for coming through. I don't want to keep you guys too late. I know it's already past midnight, and I appreciate everybody in the chat who is still hanging in with us. We finally finished up the top 5s, and I appreciate everyone in the chat who gave their top 5 as well. You guys are awesome. We're gonna get up out of here though, because I know people got to work in the morning, and as well as if you like me, you got kids, you got to get to school and whatnot. So
yeah, I gotta be up at 5:30.
so
Shout out
My
to the
kid
New
out of-
York persona. Respect
my-
my time.
you're
My
right.
kid last
got
day of
that.
school was today, so I ain't got to get up early.
All right.
No.
Well, Deli, thank you for coming through, bro. Appreciate you as always. Let everyone know where they can find you, man.
No problem. I miss you guys. I love you guys. It's always nice to be able to talk video games, like actually talk video games. But my name is Agent Deli, or just Deli for short. I worked in video games for 10 years, and my recent tenure was at Microsoft. So and mostly on Twitter. About 2 years ago, I can talk about it now, right? About 2 years ago, I said some controversial things that apparently came true, and I got a lot of hate for it. So Microsoft asked me politely to stay off the internet for quite some time. I don't work there anymore, so now I'm back on the internet.
And we appreciate that. We really do.
I love it. I
Yeah,
miss
most
it. I love the show. I love you guys. You guys are great. I usually always catch it afterwards, like when you upload it to Apple Podcasts. Which I feel like I'm the only one who watches it there, but that's why I'm always hounding you. Like, yo, get that upload up. But again,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
very
wait,
appreciative.
he be late getting that upload up.
No.
Huh?
Man, well,
I didn't say nothing.
sometimes.
I
Cause
didn't say- yeah, I didn't say nothing.
that man used to get on me like, "Hey, Forte, it's Sunday and the upload ain't up."
To be
Well,
fair, it was on brand for you, Forte.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
you were
definitely on. Well,
late all the time.
Yeah, it
And
was definitely
so
on brand. But to
I
hear,
I am typically a
this,
day or two after the live show.
I think
Yeah.
there was one. I think 5 episodes back that was 2 days late.
See?
But other than that, that's about it.
Yeah,
So you've been great. You've been great about it.
Thank you. At the latest, you'll have it up on a Saturday. That's
Yes.
normally how I roll with it. But again, appreciate you coming through, bro. Don't be a stranger.
thank you.
Anytime
Thank
you
you,
want to
thank
come
you.
through, you're more than welcome. Ramon Terrell, Trevor Bird song.
Trevor Bird song.
Let everyone know where they can find you, man.
yeah, I wish. Man, always a pleasure. It's been fantastic. Deli, man, the last time we got to hang out and talk with Scumcast. Shout out to Ash and Luca.
Yeah, shout
We
out
miss
to
you,
Lou. Yeah.
Luca.
We miss you. I actually texted her just the other day, so I actually have a phone call with her scheduled this week.
Yeah, I need to shoot her.
Yeah,
I need
next
to
week,
shoot
yeah.
her a text too. Yeah, I need to shoot her a text too. I haven't talked to her in a minute. But yeah, it's always a pleasure, man. Great to get to chop it up games. Thursday is now my favorite day because I get to hang out and chop it up with you guys. So it's I just really love being able to come on. So I can't thank you guys enough for always having me. For those of you who want to find me, I am primarily on Blue Sky, Ramon Terrell. That's how you can find me on Blue Sky. If you have Facebook, I'm infrequently on there, but I'll be on there a little bit more because I'm about to start ramping up to plan this Kickstarter together for Path of the Far Strider. And
Yeah, I'm in there.
oh man, I appreciate
I'm in
that.
there.
I appreciate that, bro. Man. It means a lot. It means a lot. So, but yeah, Ramon Terrell, Blue Sky, Ramon Terrell, Facebook. I have Instagram, not on it much, but same name. Basically, just Google my name and you'll find me where I'm at. Enjoy your games. We have an embarrassment of riches, as I say every week. Remember, this is a hobby for enjoyment. There's nothing wrong with being critical of things that need improvement or that we feel need improvement. But at the same time, let's remember that we're in this hobby to be entertained. Let's have fun. Enjoy yourselves. We're adults. We have too many responsibilities as it is. So let's not make our hobby one of them. Enjoy your games. Have a good night.
Cool. Forte.
Yeah, well, first of all, appreciate everybody for coming through. Really appreciate, the homie Deli coming through and chilling with us. We missed you, man. I was like, that man ain't never gonna come back, man. Microsoft got him under lock and key.
Yeah, it was a tough pickle. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
I
Yeah, that was a good
remember.
one.
I was like, well,
Yeah,
I remember me and SloMo was talking. He said, yeah, I don't think Deli gonna be around for. So, no, but it's good to have you back, man, because you are a very valuable piece to the industry when it comes to like just your knowledge and just you actually know what the heck is really going on out here. And it's good to have somebody that actually can give that viewpoint. And then Ramon, yeah, man, you already know how we feel about you, man. That's why you here every week, and appreciate you taking the time out of the day to do it. And once again, SloMo for putting together an amazing show. That man texted me like 6 times today, was like, Forte, yo, top 5. I was like, oh shoot, I keep forgetting to do it. Let me send this to him before he kills me. But I appreciate you going
To the
through all the work you-
surprise of no one.
Yeah, but you know what? As I'm giving you the love and admiration you deserve, you want to throw a shot, but whatever. But I appreciate you for doing everything you do and putting together a great show. Everybody else, enjoy the weekend. Like Ramon said earlier, summer has jumped in front of spring. It has been super hot, and I am appreciative of it. And you guys enjoy the games that you're playing and enjoy your weekend. I'm about to jump on Destiny 2. Peace.
And for myself, yeah, probably on my my SloMoBackSlap channel, I will be doing more videos soon, so look out for that. On the DPS channel, I bought this game. It's a super massive game, Directive 8020. I have yet to play it. I'm probably
let me
going
know
to
how that
stream
is.
it. Yeah, I'm probably going to stream
Let me
it.
know how that is.
Yeah, and just stream all the episodes. Like I did that with a few games. So yeah, it's been a while since I've done that. I might as well do it with this one too. So look out for that soon. Just gotta make sure I got the time to do it and enough time to do a full episode. Typically they're like 2 hours. So there's that. Again, appreciate everyone for coming through. Deli, you know how much you're appreciated. Glad you were able to make it, man. Ramon, as usual, you know what it is. And the sharpshooters in the chat, hope you guys enjoy your games. Have a great rest of your night. I know it's late, so hey, I hope you got some coffee in the morning because you're gonna need it. And we out, man. Peace.
Peace. Hilly up time.